and we say what we mean, and we do not present opinions as facts, because when you are in the role of an expert witness or an expert in any setting, essentially a layperson may not be able to detect the difference between something that is a personal opinion that you're giving versus something that is substantiated by research data, test
Stream's
data,
a little bit
reliable test methods.
up and down right
So,
now with the
our
connection.
ethics
So,
talk about, especially the specialty guidelines of forensic psychology.
good morning, everybody.
The responsibility
I just showered.
we have to distinguish between
Yeah.
data,
We're watching
then
this.
inferences we're making from that data, what the data can mean, sort of like those
We're
tables.
watching the
I do
trial.
it with the data, the
I'll be back.
inferences based on the research, and then what my ultimate opinion is, integrating all of that data. And it's very important that we clarify that to the fact finder, to the judge, the jury. That's our responsibility, that we do not cloak personal opinions or the self-report of an examinee as an expert fact or somehow scientifically based, when it is just a personal opinion or self-report of an examinee.
What do you mean by self-report?
The self-report is essentially what the examinee tells you during the interview.
Okay. When did Dr. Hughes do this most?
She did this most when describing instances of alleged IPV. And there's also an issue there, because one of our ethics also discusses the importance of relevance and withholding, essentially constraining our testimony to the data and not including private information, personal information that unnecessarily compromises the dignity of any of the litigants. She provided a lot of what was Ms. Hurd's report to her, the allegations of abuse, when describing Mr. Depp, who she had not examined, when describing Mr. Depp's behavior, his motivations. I believe she used the word obsessive jealousy quite a few times, talked about Ms. Hurd being in a highly dangerous situation. These are simply things that we cannot detect based on testing and a psychological evaluation. We have to evaluate the person, we have to get consent, and we can only describe an individual, not whether or not IPV has occurred. And we certainly shouldn't go into explicit details about sexual encounters or other things that are highly prejudicial, shocking, and hard to forget.
All right. Dr. Hughes says that Ms. Hurd has PTSD. Do you agree?
I do not.
Why not?
The results of my multi-method comprehensive evaluation based on carefully selected, researched, relevant test instruments, based on comparing those instruments to Ms. Hurd's self-report, observing Ms. Hurd's behavior over 12 direct hours of assessment, reviewing copious notes from prior therapists who indicated symptoms in their notes, reviewing the notes of Nurse Filati, previously Nurse Borum, who spent, I believe at one point, almost 2 months with Ms. Hurd daily, reviewing the notes of her treating providers, all of the legal documents and discovery. There was no evidence of PTSD.
How is evidence of PTSD generally exhibited?
So really the bottom line in a forensic psychological evaluation is a change in functioning. That's what we're looking for. Again, I said we don't have a crystal ball. We're not wizards. We can't get into somebody's head. What we're looking for were there identifiable changes in the way the person engaged in their world. Were they able to keep a job? PTSD is an extremely disabling diagnosis. When a person has true PTSD, it is difficult for them to work. You'll see unemployment, job loss. It causes extreme levels of distress and impairment. There's divorce, there's isolation and estrangement from children, from family members, extreme alcohol abuse, often a string of sudden DUIs when the person never had any before. They become homebound, they can't go to the store. They're certainly not going to events. They're not having success in their film career, usually. They're not exercising every day, pursuing their hobbies, being avid readers, obtaining level 3 sommelier training, having dinner parties with friends, speaking to public groups. Those are just indications of very high functioning. And when you're looking for a decrease in functioning over time, that is inconsistent with that decrease.
What about Dr. Hughes' suggestion that Mr. Waldman's statements served as a trigger for Ms. Hurd's PTSD?
All right.
Dr. Hughes had suggested that perhaps Ms. Hurd's PTSD was somehow triggered. What's your view on that?
I would say that it can't be triggered if PTSD isn't present.
Thank you very much, Doctor.
All right. Cross-examination.
Dr. Curry, I just want to make sure that we all remember, you're not board certified, correct?
No, I'm not.
Okay. And you've been licensed for how long?
I've been licensed for 10 years.
Okay. And you are being paid by Mr. Depp's legal team to be here, correct?
Yes.
How much have you charged so far?
I actually don't know.
Over 100,000?
I truly don't know. I don't do my own books.
Over 200,000?
I don't know.
Over 300,000?
That would be way too much, but I do not know.
Okay. Now, just so that we all remember, you had dinner at Mr. Depp's house for 3 to 4 hours with Mr. Depp, Mr. Waldman, Mr. Chu, and Ms. Vasquez, correct?
I was interviewed. I asked if there was anything I could eat because at about 3 hours I started to get hungry. Mr. Depp then offered to order takeout for the entire team.
So you had dinner at Mr. Depp's home with Mr. Waldman, Mr. Chu, Ms. Vasquez, and Mr. Depp, correct?
Yes.
And you had drinks as well, correct?
I actually don't know. I do remember that there were drinks.
Do you recall testifying earlier that you did have a drink, a mule something?
No, I remember testifying that there might have been a mule, a Moscow mule.
Okay, thank you. We didn't have animals there as well, right?
No animals.
Okay, that's good to know. And you talked about transparency. I just want to make sure you had several designations, expert designations and reports in this case, correct?
Yes.
And in not one of them did you disclose that you had dinner and drinks at Mr. Depp's house for 3 to 4 hours with Mr. Waldman, Mr. Chu, and Ms. Vasquez. Is that correct?
Ms. Bredehoff, you're mischaracterizing what occurred.
Dr. Curry, please answer the question. Not once did you disclose this in any of your reports,
I did not
correct?
disclose that I was interviewed, as that's standard procedure.
But it's true that you have never gone to a client's house to be interviewed for an expert witness position, correct?
Yes, because I never had a client that was essentially homebound because of their celebrity status.
All right. And you talked to Mr. Depp for 3 to 4 hours before taking on the role of assessing Ms. Heard and deciding whether she was suffering from any distress, correct?
I did not talk to Mr. Depp. I was talking to his legal team, and he was there to observe.
He was present for the 3 to 4
Yes.
hours. Oh, and are you saying now he just stayed silent and said nothing all day?
I don't recall what he didn't or didn't do. I was answering questions.
Okay. Now, your expertise here is limited to whether Amber Heard suffers from PTSD currently. Is that correct?
Yes, I was tasked with conducting an evaluation to
Okay,
determine
Dr.
Ms.
Curry,
Heard's mental
We're all on
status.
very, very strict time limitations
Okay.
because we promised to get this case to the jury. So I'd really appreciate if you just answer my question rather than trying to go further,
Sure.
okay? Thank you very much. Now, after you had the dinner, you then provided a designation in February of 2021 in which you said, and this is long before you ever saw Amber Heard, correct? You said that Amber Heard, quote, exhibits patterns of behavior that are consistent with co-occurring cluster B personality disorder traits, especially borderline personality disorder, end of quote, correct?
No,
No, we went through this before.
we did.
But, and that was on the designation, was it not?
I told you last time that I did not write that.
Okay, and you don't know who did on the legal team, correct?
No.
Okay, and then I also asked you, if you may recall, whether you listened to the audio recording in which Mr. Depp taunted Amber Heard that she had a borderline personality disorder. Do you recall that?
I recall you asking me that, yes.
Did you recall listening to that audio tape?
I don't recall Mr. Depp taunting Ms. Heard. I do recall that he at some point suggested she might have that diagnosis.
Okay, and that was back in these audio tapes back when they were together, correct?
Yes,
Okay. Now, you've never before been asked to testify or serve as an expert with respect to someone who has bipolar disorder, correct?
no, as I previously stated, that's not true.
All right. My extra copies were all distributed before. Does everybody have those?
Not up here anymore.
Okay, my apologies, but I'm going to go now.
Your Honor, can we approach it?
All right.
Now, you recall testifying in your deposition on March 21, 2022, correct?
Yes,
And you were under oath at that time, correct?
yes.
And the question I just showed you on page 207, line 5, have you ever been asked to testify or serve as an expert with respect to whether someone has bipolar disorder? And your answer at that time was no, correct?
Yes, I had forgotten that case.
Okay. And have you ever been asked to testify whether anyone has behavioral or characterological conduct that suggests they may be an IPV perpetrator?
I can't, yeah, I may have. It's difficult. After about 250 cases, it's difficult to remember specifically.
All right. And have you ever been qualified as an expert in the area of IPV?
No.
And have you ever been qualified to testify as an expert in domestic abuse or violence?
Domestic.
Abuse or violence?
Yes, that's been a component of testimony.
All right.
Can I take a look? You want? Okay.
Line 16 of page 207, have you ever been qualified as an expert in the area of IPV? Your answer on line 20 was no, under oath, correct? Then the next question, have you ever been qualified to testify as an expert in domestic abuse or violence? And goes into page 208, line 4. The answer then under oath was no. Now, you would agree that the literature is quite clear that trauma-based symptoms such as PTSD or complex PTSD have symptoms that overlap with borderline personality disorder and histrionic personality disorder, yes?
Yes.
Okay. And you would agree that it's important to use valid and reliable measures for an accurate diagnosis, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. You chose, however, not to administer the structured clinical interview for DSM-5 personality disorders, the SCID. Is that correct?
I did.
Okay. And would you agree that that is a state-of-the-art structured clinical interview?
Not for a forensic evaluation with a sophisticated examinee.
But to determine if a personality disorder is present?
No, not in this setting.
You don't agree with that?
I do not.
And you don't agree that that is the gold standard assessment for reliable, accurate psychiatric diagnosis?
It's a good one, but for treatment settings especially.
Okay. Now, did Ms. Hurd, you said you talked about, you read all of the treatment records, right?
Yes,
Okay. Do you recall reading the treatment records for the psychologist Bonnie Jacobs, who saw Amber Heard over 5 years?
I do.
And did you see anything in Bonnie Jacobs' notes over 5 years in which she diagnosed Ms. Heard with borderline personality or histrionic personality disorder?
No.
Now, you also saw the notes of Dr. Connell Cohen, correct? Mm-hmm. And you even attended his deposition, correct?
Yes.
All right. And he saw Amber for roughly 2 years. He was part of the Dr. Kipper connection, right?
Yes.
Correct? Okay. And did you see anything in Dr. Cowan's notes, and did he say in his deposition that he diagnosed Amber Heard with borderline personality disorder or histrionic personality disorder?
I saw the symptoms clearly delineated throughout his notes and in his deposition. He does not use diagnoses, so he would not have diagnosed her.
He said specifically in his deposition he did not diagnose her with that, correct?
Yes, and he also specifically stated that he does not use diagnoses.
All right. And you also have seen Dr. Banks, Dr. Amy Banks, the psychiatrist, her deposition, correct?
Yes.
And did Dr.
Not her
Anderson,
deposition. I reviewed her notes in the transcript.
all right. Did Dr. Anderson diagnose Ms. Heard with borderline personality disorder or histrionic personality disorder?
I don't believe she provided any diagnosis since she was a couples therapist.
All right. Now, you've said quite a bit about Don Hughes, but do you remember how many years of experience Don Hughes has in IPV and domestic abuse and violence?
I know it's quite a bit.
Extensive, and she is board certified, correct?
Yes, she is.
All right, and she spent 29 hours of examination with Amber Heard, did she not?
Yes, mostly
Okay.
interviewing.
All right, and she interviewed her therapists, Bonnie Jacobs and Conan Cowell, correct?
Yes.
And she also interviewed Amber's late mother.
Yes.
Okay, and she administered 12 different tests over the period of that time, correct?
Well, as I said, the majority of those were checklists, which are inappropriate for the forensic setting.
I understand that's what you say, but she administered 12 different tests, correct?
If you want to qualify them as tests, sure.
Okay. And so you disregard, no, I'm not even going to say that. Okay. Let's go to the CAPS-5 and PTSD. Now, you assessed Ms. Heard's traumas in her life, correct?
Yes, I did
Okay.
give her an instrument to assess for any trauma exposure throughout the entire lifespan.
Yes, that's fine. And you wrote that Ms. Heard's exposure to a traumatic event, namely one of the sexual assaults by Mr. Depp, more than satisfied this requirement. Did you not write that in your notes?
That is not what I wrote in my notes. Do you have my notes? So we
And
can
you
look at them?
administered a structured clinical interview based on that trauma, correct?
Not exactly. It's not quite right.
Okay. Now, Dr. Hughes administered a full intimate partner violence assessment, correct?
That's not a psychological assessment. We can't assess for intimate partner violence. That's an event.
Dr. Hughes administered a full intimate partner violence assessment,
She
correct?
stated that, and that's actually something I'm rebutting today.
Okay, and you reviewed her psychological testing?
I sure did, yes.
Okay, and are you aware that in September 2019, Ms. Heard had a trauma-based symptom on many of those valid tests?
Can you be a little bit more specific? Many of those valid tests, which tests are you talking
Do
about?
you have a recollection of that, September 2019?
She administered all of her testing in September 2019, so I'm not sure which one, oh, except for the CAPS 5, which was 10 days after mine in 2021.
Now, Dr. Hughes clinically evaluated those symptoms and established that Ms. Heard does have PTSD from the totality of the intimate partner violence by Mr. Depp, correct?
That's what she stated, yes.
Okay. Now, Dr. Anderson's clinical notes that said Amber had come to...
Objection, hearsay.
I haven't even asked the question yet, Your Honor.
Are you going to read her notes?
Well, no, actually, I wasn't going to read her notes. I was
okay.
going to ask a particular question.
Okay.
You talked about danger. Do you recall that in your testimony?
Yes.
All right. Now, if a patient comes to you as a couples therapist with two black eyes, would you assess that there may be a potential danger there?
Sure.
Okay. Did you read Dr. Anderson's notes?
I believe I did.
Now, you administered the Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Inventory 2, the MMPI-2. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And you used that to determine whether Amber had PTSD, right?
Not by itself, but it was a part of the data.
Okay. And in the 60 to 70 T-score range for that test, which, quote, deliberate attempts to mislead are uncommon, end quote. Isn't that correct?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
In the T-score section of that, for which assesses deliberate attempts to mislead, do you recall? She scored a 60 on that test, correct?
So there are multiple T-scores for each scale, so I'm not sure which scale you're talking about.
Okay. Well, we can deal with that later. So you would agree that you need to follow ethics and best practices in forensic psychology, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And the two primary sources are the American Psychological Association Ethical Principles and Professional Code of Conduct, right? Mm-hmm. And the American Psychological Association's Specialty Guidelines for Forensic Psychology, correct?
Yes.
And Specialty Guidelines 1.02 states that forensic practitioners, quote, strive for accuracy, impartiality, fairness, and independence, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And Specialty Guidelines 1.03 states that you have to avoid a conflict of interest, correct?
Yes.
Now, in addition to not listing the 4 hours you spent with Mr. Depp, Mr. Waldman, Mr. Chu, and Ms. Vasquez, you also did not list that you spent an hour with Dr. Shah, correct?
That's incorrect.
You say that the designation said that you spent
During
an
my
hour?
deposition, I also clarified this. I didn't spend an hour with Dr. Shah. There was an introduction with the attorneys present on Zoom. My time on that call was less than 30 minutes.
Okay. But you still didn't disclose it, did you, in your reports?
No.
Okay. Now, you have not been asked to testify about Ms. Heard's behavior in the context of her relationship with Mr. Depp. Is that correct?
I was asked to testify about somebody's behavioral mental status in general, so that can include behavior involved in a relationship with Mr. Depp, but not specifically.
Can you pull up day 10 of the trial testimony at page 2710? Are you able to do that, Michelle? 2710, lines 12 through 18.
May we approach?
All right. All righty.
All right, we're here, ready to go. The stream's a little, struggling a little bit, but it's fine. What just happened? Can someone catch me up on this? No. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. Okay, so we have the what everyone calls the well, I don't know what they call her, but they all they have different emotes for it, emojis for it. Like the bagoon, the booba. It doesn't matter.
Thank you. Great job.
So this is Johnny's
Does the witness
side.
also have- Okay. Yep. So, Dr. Curry, this is your testimony from day 10 in this case, and if you can look at page 27.
1 million watching right now on
line 13.
on their
Now,
channel.
is it
This is
my question was,
insane.
now, is it your testimony under oath today that you have not been asked to testify concerning Ms. Heard's behavior in the context of her relationship with Mr. Depp, including any abuse? And your answer under oath to this jury that day was, that's correct.
Yes.
Correct?
I still agree with that question.
All right. And you have not made any determinations, including any opinions, that Ms. Heard abused Mr. Depp or Mr. Depp abused Ms. Heard, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And in fact, you said that's outside the scope.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Of psychology.
And you
Wow.
cannot testify whether Amber Heard suffered any emotional distress as a result of any of the defamatory comments that she has alleged Mr. Waldman made through Mr. Depp, or Mr. Depp made through Mr. Waldman, correct?
Objection, Your Honor.
Do you want me to read my response?
What's the
Sure.
objection? I'm
What
sorry.
I-
Hold on, Dr.
Sorry,
Curry.
Your Honor.
That's okay. What's the objection? You want to approach?
No. Crinkle, crinkle. I think we're gonna watch. There's a clip after this. Someone's take. It's pretty cringe. When I say cringe, it's not really cringe. It's just kind of like, huh? Are you kidding me?
Now,
And it's about the trial,
you have not
so.
rendered any opinion as to whether Amber Heard exhibits patterns of behavior that would suggest her allegations of abuse against Mr. Depp are false. Would you agree?
No. I mean, yes, I would agree with that.
Thank you. And you have not, no, that's right. That's all I've got. No further questions.
All
Thank
right,
you.
redirect.
That's it. And they are struggling. I gotta say, they're struggling on Amber's side. Why? Because Amber is difficult to defend because
You were
there's not a lot to
asking
defend.
about the skit.
She's lying.
Yes.
What's that?
It's a structured clinical interview.
Oops, sure,
It's for rendering a diagnosis. It's best for treatment because you're asking direct questions of the examinee and about symptoms. So if you have an examinee who has a tendency to minimize, you're not going to get much information.
Why didn't you use it?
Because, well, first of all, I had a limited amount of time for my evaluation, and I had already had to use, just to complete the interview was extremely time-consuming, and I had to even restructure it into handouts so that I could keep Ms. Heard on track. I determined based on that, so this is where you would make an inference. So because I was having difficulty getting direct answers to my questions from Ms. Hurd, I had determined that creating forms of those questions would be a better use of the time, which it was, and then I further deduced that adding on the structured clinical interview would probably be unproductive, given that I had limited time and needed to use the best, most reliable methods for getting information in that time.
You were asked about the APA specialty guidelines,
Yes.
specifically 1.02 and
Yes.
1.03. Have you complied with them?
I have.
No further questions.
Seems like
Thank
John. Okay, so Johnny. It seems like Johnny's witnesses. They all are like experts, and they're like, "Oh yeah, of course, I know the guidelines, and I abide by them." And then Amber's people are like, I know about them. I don't really. I'm not a professional, so I wouldn't." What?
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and take our morning recess for 15 minutes. Do not discuss the case and do not do any outside research, okay?
All right, this is a good time. This is a good time to. We're gonna watch a little clip. I want to make sure we have the right clip here, because it can be long. All
right. Just for planning purposes, Sammy asked Mr. Tobin to be here as early as noon, just in case with the fluid of the trial. I'm not sure what time we can get to that motion, so. Okay, just to let you know. They need to work on that. They're going to find out who the next witness is. So let's go ahead and take a recess until 10:55, okay? All right, thank you. Thank you.
right, let's just watch this. I'm just curious how this went down. That's all. Let's just see.
I don't want to argue against Johnny's situation because I don't think he should be diagnosed by a psychology expert through his movies. That is a very, very clear setting where you are. It's just a very clear setting where you're supposed.
Hold on, let me restart this. Let's watch it now.
I don't want to argue against Johnny's situation because I don't think he should be diagnosed by a psychology expert through his movies. That is a very, very clear setting where you are. It's just a very clear setting where you're supposed to be acting.
Where?
Streaming, for Dr. Disrespect, he's a persona. For us, it's less so like that. But haven't you seen an equal amount of people?
Sorry guys, the
deducing
net is
similar things from Amber Heard's
the stream is a little bit,
interviews, from the way she speaks on the stand, from XYZ.
I think a random Twitter's
I don't-
opinion about her behavior isn't comparable to a qualified medical or psychiatric expert going on stand and under oath about on it. I don't think that these are even comparable. They're not even close.
Well, I
I
mean,
agree.
it's fair, but
I agree.
isn't that what a court of law allows?
What are you
What do you
talking
mean?
about? What's she talking about?
I don't know what is common or not.
Wait, in what sense?
Well, do
What?
they not have experts come on and I guess give their opinion from what they've seen of the evidence and maybe the trial?
Well, I think
Whoever
that's
else?
what it's all about, right? I think that's what they're trying to prove is that if you bring your witness that has studied and been one-on-one with your subject, right? And ask questions about those findings and their medical, analytical opinion of the field that they're experts in, right? Not their long-range analysis of 4 or 5 pieces of media given by one side of the fucking.
But you do recognize that he was also speaking about like some sort of memory test that Johnny Depp did take. So I think
3
that's
Okay.
3 out of 30, which he could not.
Right.
He could not.
It's
deem as
27 out of 30.
conclusive because the subject wasn't controlled. He could have been drunk or high, or it could have
Tired.
been a jet lag. Could have been it.
Well,
See?
well,
Could've been
yes,
tired.
but
That's
isn't
what they
that
said.
still- I feel like that's such a biased response. Like, hey, here is
Okay, I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna say this about it because I don't know. I don't know everything. I don't know. I don't know Pokimane. I don't watch her stream. I think I'm just gonna be honest. I think, and I don't know if I'm like treading on the wrong area here, but it feels like this might be like, I don't know if this is an act. If this is like a skit. I mean, I feel like I don't believe so. I'm taking it at, it's just like a little part of my brain's like, are they lying? Is this a skit? Are they pretending? Is this like to get more attention, to kind of like create a, rivalry, create a little drama? I don't know. I don't think so, but I mean, it's possible. But that's just a small little thing. But I'm just taking this. I'm taking this at face value. I believe she really thinks this stuff. What it sounds like, though, really, so far, it seems like she's and based on what I've read, like comments about how she's trying to be neutral, it seems like, and it sounds like she's trying to like force the whole like, I'm not biased, I'm neutral, I'm in the middle, I don't choose, I just, which is like, this is a great opportunity. Like, she's like, this is a great opportunity to be unbiased right now, because this is such a biased, everyone's on one side with this. But it's like, I don't think that's the point of being unbiased is not to just force neutrality 100% of the time, always in the middle all the time. It's not to be a fence sitter 24/7. The point of being unbiased is to be the person who is basically to be honest, to seek truth. That's the point of, that is literally the point of being unbiased. All right, that's the point. Yo, what up, chat? I'm watching a clip. This is somebody. Morning, good morning. What's up, chat? What's up? Good morning. Yeah. So this is I'm just watching a clip, a take on the trial. I don't know what audio level is proper for this. I'll just leave it 75% of the way, but I don't know. I mean, I might be saying too much about this. There's probably not a whole lot to say, but I'm just thinking. And also, yeah, I don't have a full screen because I don't want to get, I got my video got flagged last time. I got flagged. Anyway. But yeah, it seems like she's trying to force that. Like, I'm the unbiased character, but it's like, that's not the point. The point isn't to do that. It just isn't. Then you're just actually lying. Then you're dishonest. If you're like that 24/7, there are times where you will pick a side. That is also that's unbiased though, to do that sometimes. And I don't mean picking a thing. Yes, everyone has a bias. Everybody has a bias, but being unbiased means to seek the truth no matter what. So if new evidence comes out, you go, you know what? Maybe that was wrong, or I'm open to being wrong. I'm open, and it's the evidence. Things can be falsifiable, right? You go, hey, I believe this based on this. However, if this thing were true, or if this thing was not true, then I would change my mind, and this thing, my opinion would now be this, potentially. That's unbiased. That is unbiased. Not, I pick no side. Or I'm not gonna go. Or contrarian. Contrarian isn't unbiased. That's bias. I don't know if it's biased, but it's not unbiased. It's not unbiased. I'm just gonna go against what everyone else does, because what most people do. Most humans, I'm gonna go with whatever's popular. I'm gonna do the current thing. I'm gonna do the common popular thing. What's everyone else doing? Me too. Well, being unbiased 24/7 is also, it's like opposite. It's like contrarian. You're like, no, I'm not gonna do what they say. I'm unique. I'm not going to do it. Not always, but I mean, I don't mean literally unbiased. I mean that definition of unbiased. Literally, actually unbiased. The real unbiased is, I'm not going to be swayed just because most people say this thing, or just because everyone's ridiculing me for whatever, or just because maybe it's, or just because it's illegal to think this, or just because it's whatever. Everyone's got pitchforks outside my house. They got torches. They're saying, "Come out! We're gonna come out here, you whatever, you heathen." Well, no one dare better have that opinion. Even then, I will still not be swayed. Well, not swayed, you know what I mean? I won't be swayed to think a certain way. I'm going to wait for the evidence. I'm going to make sure I'm correct. I'm going to seek the truth no matter what. Hey, guys, did you know the Earth revolves around the sun? It's not the other way around. The planets don't revolve around us. What did you say? See, the person who's unbiased would be like, well, maybe it's true. So what it seems like everyone agrees that the Earth is flat and that, you know, everything revolves around us because we're the center of the universe. But, well, I guess I don't know. Maybe they believe it's round at that point. I don't know, but it's not like that, you know. But the person who's unbiased would be like, you know, I don't know. Maybe he's correct. Or they'd say, you know, an unbiased person would say, the evidence shows this. Now, I don't want it to be true, but that's what it shows. So, you know, the most believable thing, this is what it is. It's the most probable thing. Therefore, I'm, you know, 87% of my confidence is in this. I don't want that to be that way. It's just, that's just the truth. I don't not want it. I don't want it. That's the way it is. Okay? So, like, that's kind of what unbiased should be. It's not like a game. It's not a persona. Oh, look at me. Because it's like kind of like she's kind of like, I don't know. I'm going on too much. We'll see. Because if it's that way, it's kind of like a character or a virtue signal kind of thing, you know? Which is, that's fine. That's fine. Do your thing. I don't care. I don't care. Do whatever, you know? As long as you don't hurt anyone, you know? Alright, it's cool. Whatever. Alright, let's just watch.
Takes
That's
to judge their cognitive ability or their memory. Yeah, but what if they were high when they took it?
okay. That's 3 out of 30.
Okay, what if?
That's 3 out of 30. You know that, right? No, I'm not kidding. So he did not see the result of the tests, right? All the 27s, right? All the whatever the fuck the rest is, right?
If an expert witness isn't able to have a one-on-one session with someone, this is all the information that they have. My point is,
Then don't talk about
you
it.
should just. Well, then we shouldn't talk about anything.
Well, that's why they brought doctors of her doctor. She spoke about her. Doctors spoke about her experience. Doctors came on and psychologists came out to speak about her experience and her thoughts and her, because she analyzed her. This guy is as good as some random YouTuber.
That's
who
right.
analyzed Johnny
Yes,
Depp's on the
that's
internet.
exactly right. That's
He's
because okay.
qualified.
Okay. The guy who was on, by the way, everyone was saying I mean, this is actually kind of rude to say, but they thought he was drunk or high or something. The expert they had on was a guy who he didn't really give any solid reasons, proof, evidence for why he believes that Johnny Depp is a narcissist, and he couldn't actually diagnose him as that. He couldn't actually say, "Yep, he's that." He said, "Oh, I just think so because he has narcissistic-like traits, or I've seen some narcissistic-like traits." And it's like, I mean, if you look at some of them, and they're kind of like they overlap with a lot of what normal people have, you know. Just because you love yourself, you're confident, you're really into yourself. You can be very self-loving and not be a narcissist, but that is a trait that narcissists have. By the way, did you know that? It's stuff like that. Look, and then they try to ask him like, "Oh, is Johnny Depp's been eating candy and drawing during the trial? Is that a trait?" And then they're like, "Objection," which good, object that because it's silly. But then he was about to, he was like, "Yeah," he got really excited, like, "Yeah." But he kept asking like, "What is it about? What about Johnny Depp is narcissistic?" And he's like, "I've just seen things." He's talking about like clips, things he's read, rumors, stories he's heard. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. It's not
to be
evidence.
honest, I'm a little annoyed because I feel like I'm being put in a position.
Oh, okay. This isn't get the real drama, but anyway, I do want to say though that it's only fair to have the person who's actually the consensual, like analyst or a consensual therapist or psychologist or whoever's working with that patient or client at the time, because they've spent the time, they've done all the paper, they've spent time, they've done all the proper, the proper steps, proper procedures to officially analyze and confirm whether this person is diagnosed with this thing. And that guy is just it's right, he's just a rando, Hey, I saw clips of Amber, okay, then Amber Heard's a psychopath, narcissist, because I saw clips about it, and I've been saying that on stream, right? Like, she's like that. I didn't say she was literally that, but I was saying, she's insane, right? She's batshit insane. Okay, then she is now. You can't just do that. You can't just say that stuff. It has to be, there's a process. And and by the way, what do we know? I mean, what do streamers know, really? Come on. But, you know what I'm saying.
I feel like I'm being put in a position to defend this guy whose testimony I only watched half of.
Okay.
So I can't really do that. But I'm curious, do you know whether he asked for a one-on-one? Was he not able to get one?
He asked. So
then don't
we don't
defend
know
it
entirely, but
I only watched
they
half.
did-
I only watched half of it. I feel like I'm put in a position. Like, no, you're not. Just don't defend it. Just say, hey, I didn't watch it. I don't know. Easy. See, that's not entertaining to say that. I don't know. It's not entertaining. So she has to have an opinion. Gotta have an opinion. No, I'm kidding. I do have an opinion because I do know what if I don't know, I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything, but I know I'm saying what I think because I have an opinion right now. He was a little scraggly. Hold on, chat. Like the clip of him when he was on a ship, he was looking a little scraggly. Yeah, well, Johnny Depp's had down. Johnny Depp's had bad times. He's had good times, and for a lot of years he's had a lot of But dude, that's what happens though. That's what paparazzi does. All right, they try to catch celebrities looking like shit. They try to catch them looking at their worst. Look at this guy. He looks like an absolute. He looks like a sewer rat. He's picking his butt and he's eating his poop. Look, he's picking his nose. Gross. Look, he's all fat. He gained 50 pounds. Ugh, he's losing hair. And it's like the wind's blowing it the wrong way. So he's like, and it's like, really, he's not. He's just, or maybe it's true, but it's like, dude, calm down. That's not evidence of, you know what I mean? It's just drama. Yeah, I read that late because I was going on about stuff, but
so they just declined on the advice of counsel.
All right, anyway.
Did ask, but it wasn't court ordered, so they just declined on the advice of counsel.
Well.
Oh, wait, let's go back.
He asked. So we don't know entirely, but they did ask, but it wasn't court ordered, so they just declined on the advice of counsel.
Well, then, if you're Amber's
That's right.
legal team, would you rather have nothing or have this guy come in and give his expert opinion off of what he can, which granted isn't much and isn't really credible?
No, that's fair. That's fine. She's not wrong about that. Yeah, joking about his narcissism was seen on the clips. Oh. Yeah. Well, that's what they were talking about. They actually talked about that during the trial. That are you talking about clips from Pirates of the Caribbean where he's a drunk pirate kind of thing, and and he did kind of see. The thing is, here's the thing. So she's not 100% wrong about this. Like, of course you need well, about that this last chunk she said that's not wrong. Of course, so yeah, you're gonna do what you can to win. She's trying to do whatever she can to win, and also, I said this during the stream. I said this during the trial. I think that guy they had on was probably one of the best people they've had on. Now, I'm not saying he was good. He actually did. He was crap. He didn't help at all. In fact, it was pretty embarrassing. It was it wasn't super embarrassing, but it was still lame. It was just as lame as anything else. But he wasn't making. Let's just put it this way. He actually said some things that made sense. or one thing, I guess, which is just basically, or little things like little, information about narcissism and all the little scientific input. Problem is, a lot of it also was kind of wonky, and the fact that he presented himself as like I'm an expert and a professional, like it kind of messed with it because he kept saying stuff that wasn't true as well, which was like, oh, Johnny Depp, oh yeah, definitely a narcissist. I could tell. It's like, that's not how you do it. So clearly he's not exactly all there. Hey Ruth, what's going on? But yeah, anyway, it's just I think that we're just watching a clip in between. It's a break right now, and then like 5 minutes or something, the trial's back. But anyway, I think that she's but I think that guy was the best guy they've had on so far. Like the best attempt, what I mean, the best attempt. But no, it just wasn't enough. And no, he was not good at it, and he did not help. He didn't have anything substantial. Okay, he really didn't have anything substantial to help out. But Pokey doesn't have to defend it.
Well, I think you.
It's like you're arguing with me.
You just
but,
don't bring him at all. I think you just.
That's
don't,
right.
I mean,
Don't bring it up.
You bring him in to talk about what he found about Amber, right? Because that's their side, and kind of move on from that.
Right, you can't do
Right.
anything.
But I think it comes across as incredibly
don't bring him in.
risky and disingenuous to bring a
Ready
guy
for the jury?
No, Your Honor, we do have a
Here, 1 second. I'm gonna finish this clip real
who's
quick.
seen clips, and it was literally being disproven on the stand that he's wrong. They literally said that his earpiece could have been music.
Did you miss the much? Not a whole lot yet. I'm actually just started as well, kinda. But yeah, I mean, we'll find out. We'll find out in a minute.
Bring a guy.
What's going on? But Johnny has his expert on, his witness on. Hey, I just want to see
kinda
it.
Move on from that.
What else?
Right.
XQC
But
yesterday.
I think it comes across as incredibly risky and disingenuous to bring a guy who's seen clips, and it was literally being disproven on the stand that he's wrong.
Right.
They literally said that his earpiece could have been music. I mean, who are you or who am I to say that it wasn't music?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well.
who are we to say that it was?
Well, it's
Okay,
a court of
well,
law. Yeah,
there you go.
You would have to prove that claim. You can't just make a claim and say
That's
well,
right.
It could have not been lol.
Right. Right.
Or it could have been. It could have lol. It's a probability. This is what the guy's doing. That's why he's getting rolled for.
It could have been. It could have not been. Then you can't
Well,
bring it
the
up then.
evidence can be kind of on either.
Well, it's court of law. They have to prove it. They would have to prove that.
You don't prove
they
a negative,
would
you
have to
gotta-
prove that it wasn't music, right?
Right. Well, no, kinda.
Yeah, it's guilty.
Kinda.
Innocent until
Kinda.
guilty, right?
I think she's
Innocent until proven guilty.
right.
The burden of proof falls on them.
He's not wrong.
I'm tired of speaking
That's all right.
with this chat reading, and again, like, when I say unbiased, like, I am just watching the trial from the moments that I can watch, which is not all of it, and I just judge individual pieces of evidence.
She's not even
from
watching the
evidence.
trial, and she's like judging it, and then she's like, I'm upset. Like, you guys can't be you guys can't. I feel like I'm getting attacked. Like, come on, you gotta watch it before you know. Or you can say that. You can say, I don't know. All right. Anyway, that was that. I think they're chatting up with the judge right now. We're getting back to it. I apologize if the stream gets a little. There might be moments where it'll get a little laggy or a little whatever, but right now it's stable. It was a little choppy earlier. Yeah. If it goes out, I'll just start it back up again. But yeah, I don't know. Pokey is a little bit. I don't know. That was a controversial little thing that happened recently where she was just trying to defend Amber Heard, and she didn't watch everything, and she was saying, "Oh, well, she had an expert on," but it was like the expert was didn't really do a good job and didn't provide any evidence at all, and she was saying she just didn't understand it. Pokey just didn't understand it. But beyond that, she actually went further. She's trying to like play the persona of like being neutral, and I just don't think that's. Anyway, I kind of explained it a little bit already, but I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm neutral," and then now your opinions are all good or whatever. I'm on the safe side. Like, you know, you're always gonna upset somebody. You know, it might be only one person. Sometimes it'll be everyone. But it's just gonna happen. Just gonna happen. So the best thing is just to be on the side that's most true, the most correct, the most moral, but the most correct. And that requires the truly being unbiased means, you know, we wait, and sometimes we, you know, don't jump on jump to conclusions, and we have to and it's not exactly popular, it's not entertaining, but it's the right thing to do, because it's right, innocent until proven guilty. And I think, yeah, that's kind of how that's my position on, that was my position years ago with Johnny Depp. I just, you know, you gotta trust, you know, take it seriously. You gotta take the claim seriously, but then we gotta make sure it's right. We gotta make sure. Anyway, that's my little take on that. I think I'm gonna, a little clip for later. Maybe Pokey will see it, and then no, and then she'll get mad at me. Nah, they don't see this stuff. Not yet. Anyway, they might. No, they wouldn't. Yeah, it's I think Johnny Depp has the public support now. I think for a long time it was like half and half, you know. A lot of people were, maybe even more people were against him. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I mean his reputation was destroyed. It was absolutely destroyed. And the worst thing about it is, well, I guess it's not the worst, but it's one of the bad things. One of the big problems was Amber Heard she ruined his reputation, ruined his career. She prevented him from getting work anymore, you know? Yeah. Well, yeah, of course. Yep. Her story doesn't match up it just doesn't match up with the evidence. And of course, like, it's like when she says stuff, I every time I listen, it's like, maybe, you know, I consider it. I'm like, maybe, right? It's possible, but then it's never backed up with anything. And then it's always, it's like it seems very much like she's making stuff up. And then everything Johnny Depp's bringing to the table, it's like he has professionals. They know what they're doing. They're abiding by the rules. They're abiding by the laws and the standards. They've done the proper procedures. They have actual evidence to back up what they're saying. And it's just way more believable. And she's done things to prove and show that she's just not like trustworthy. And it's just, I don't know, man. And it's really, I mean, I feel for anyone who actually, I feel for anybody who's gone through any kind of, you know, any kind of domestic violence at all. It's horrible. And it would be horrible if you're trying to say that happens and then no one believes you. That would be horrible, right? That'd be a nightmare. But in this case, she made it up to, you know, try to get back at him. Or for whatever reason. I think that's probably part of it. I'm not actually exactly sure as to why she did that. But, you know, it seems like it's that way. She's got a thing against him, and it's just not good. But yeah, she she was trying to claim that her career was tanking because of the drama from the case, prior to the case, because what Johnny Depp was saying and what people who supported him are saying about her. And it's like, they're saying, yeah, she didn't get as many calls, and it's like, okay, she didn't get as many calls. Oh yeah, and she should have gotten way more money, because other actresses, yesterday, I think it was yesterday, yesterday they had an expert talk about comps, which are comparables or whatever. Other actresses like her, quote unquote, that are working currently, and they're successful. They're getting movies. They're, like I don't know why Ana de Armas. I don't know why Ana de Armas is considered comparable, but she is, I guess, and that's what they said. And others, I forgot what other ones. There's like 4 total that they used as examples, and they said, oh, she's getting work. She was in Blade Runner, and she's gotten other movies too. But Amber Heard doesn't. She's not getting any work. It's like, or she actually is getting work, but she's not getting as many calls. And it's like, okay, well, Johnny Depp hasn't gotten not only does he not have any calls, he's not getting work at all. In fact, they ostracized him and they kicked him out of Hollywood years ago because of everything Amber Heard said about him, because of that article that they published. It's like, what? Huh? Like, she's trying to say, yeah, my career was actually destroyed. And then anytime Johnny Depp does a thing, so basically she's mirroring, okay? Just to get down to the bottom of it, he presents evidence, and then the next day, she'll bring in witnesses to, like, counter it by trying to say, like, actually, I'm the one who was hit. Actually, my career was destroyed. Actually, Johnny Depp was jealous of me. I wasn't crazy about him. He was psycho about me. He was worried that I was cheating. He was worried that whatever. And it's like, dude. But we know that she cheated, or she at least was with other guys, and so it's like, okay, that makes sense why he was like that. And his career was destroyed. His career literally was destroyed. There's evidence of it. It's just sad. It's a sad thing, but that's what's up. That's what it is. And I really do. I mean, we don't know. It can go any way. I think it seems as if it's in his favor. The majority of everyone's really on his side. And a lot of people who were prior, I think, on her side have changed their mind. It seems that way anyway. But I have found some people who are actually on her side on Twitter, but they're like, there's like 5 total or something. Oh, that's right. That's exactly right. Yep. All of the, all the expert witnesses they had, or friend, all the witnesses they had, they didn't have evidence. They didn't have evidence of it. The guy yesterday was like licking his lips. He's all crazy. Everyone's like, is he on drugs? Is he is he drunk? He's like, yeah, well, and they're like, okay, so what evidence do you have that he's a narcissist to give you any kind of belief that he's a narcissist? And he's like, oh well, I don't know, I've seen things or whatever. He's like, it's from what I've seen. What is it from what? And he just couldn't provide anything. It's like, huh? That's exactly right, though. They don't have any actual tangible hard evidence. There's nothing really, at least on her side, there's nothing to prove any of that stuff. And then on Johnny's side, we actually have hospital records. We have video pictures. It's just and then not only that, we have, people have actually talked to Amber and talked to him, I don't know if it was a counselor or therapist or what it was, but man, the Back to the Future dude. Yeah, but yeah, it's like, he's just crazy, man. He was a crazy. They just don't have anything. I don't think she has a case, or I don't think she has a good argument or good case on her side. It looked good years ago when we didn't know as much, but now that we know more, it's like, yeah, yikes. It's going in his favor, so. But yeah, that's pretty much what's going on today. I'm not 100% sure about everything going on. But he brought back one of his witnesses who actually has talked to. I'm not sure if he sorry, he. Did I say he? I meant she. She officially talked to Amber. I'm not sure if she actually diagnosed her, but she did say something about her. I think she actually did. I think she filled out a form and she said she had, I don't know if it was narcissism or if she had something. No, she had bipolar or something like that, right? Was it bipolar? Something like that. I think she had said she's bipolar, or she has the score turned out to be that which indicates bipolar. Something like that. I think it was bipolar. It could be something else. I forget, but it was something. I'm not gonna be confident in that answer because I don't know. I forget. Our friends generally believe her though. Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Actually, that's right. And her sister, they're trying to talk to her. Somebody was trying to talk to her sister, or yesterday there was a witness on. She was imploring. I implore her sister to do the right thing, because she was saying her sister was defending Amber, and she was saying like she knows she's doing it because it's her sister, but she was like really, she was asking her yesterday to come out and tell the truth about her, because she knows, or at least she thinks that she knows. She's like, you know that she's wrong here. You need to do the right thing and tell the truth about your sister. And we'll see. I don't think that's gonna happen. I understand that family bonds are, because she has to deal with her family afterwards. But I don't know, man. I don't know. That's kind of a sad. That's a dilemma. I don't know if they need her sister to come out and do that. I think it's pretty obvious by now. Man, this is a long in between. I'm probably not going to talk as much when they're going on
Your next
talking.
witness.
So hopefully, it might get a little.
I'm sorry. Let's get the jury first, right?
It's going to get a little quiet.
You ready
but,
for the jury?
I'm just giving my little opinion in between here. Keep it a little entertaining. keep it a little upbeat. I don't know. Trials are never crazy exciting. Court cases, law, legal stuff. Section 392, 3092 actually, Section 3, Article 6, Sentence 2. It's like, yikes. All rise. Oh wait, they have to wait for... I don't know why they're standing actually, but... I can't believe her friends were like that. That's crazy. Well, actually, that makes sense. If they,
Okay, thank you.
usually friends are.
Are
I guess it makes sense.
we ready for the next witness, or do you
Yes,
want
we
to
call Mr. Depp.
Okay.
If they believed her, then if she was my friend and I believed her, I'd also be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe it. He needs to go down. He needs to go to jail." Oh, he's going up. Big moment.
So
This is
just a reminder,
huge.
you're still under oath.
Oh no, he's been up there before, right?
All right, thank you, sir.
Ooh, here we go. Here we go. Johnny.
Good morning, Mr. Depp.
Good morning.
We heard a lot about some statements that Mr. Waldman made. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And Mr. Waldman is your attorney, or was your attorney?
Yes.
Could we please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 1245? And this is already in evidence, so permission to please
Yes.
publish. If we could scroll down to the second page. Mr. Depp, do you see the statement here attributed to Mr. Waldman?
Yes, I do.
When's the first time that you saw this statement?
All right.
Cameraman had to get both of them in there. What a shot. All right. I don't know what's going to happen. Long Crime Sidebar Podcast for Trial Recaps. So, yeah. I don't know, man. It's a little, look at Johnny. I think over time he's gotten more confident about this. I think so. Because originally it was not looking good for him. Yeah, what's the most haunting thing I think she said was like, no one's going to believe you. They're going to believe, they're not going to believe a man.
Back up. Thank you. Mr. Depp,
That's
when is
scary.
the first time that you saw this statement by Mr. Waldman?
The first time that I ever saw this statement was in August.
It's my steamed rice.
It was when the piece was This is the first time that I saw any of these statements.
Can we please pull up defendants?
That's right.
Defendants Exhibit
Yep, win or lose, the
1246.
story is out. That's right. Well,
This is also already in
he's won
evidence.
public opinion,
Thank you.
that's for sure.
If we could scroll down to the second page, or the third perhaps. Thank you. Mr. Depp, do you see this statement that's attributed to Mr. Waldman here?
I do.
And when is the first time that you saw these statements?
Same, when the countersuit was filed.
And could we please go to Defendants Exhibit 1247? And again, this is already in evidence. And if we could scroll down, please, thank you.
Over 1 million people watching
Mr.
on
Depp, do you
this.
see the
That's crazy.
statement attributed to Mr. Waldman?
I did, yes.
And when's the first time that you saw this statement?
This is the same. It's the counterclaim to August 2020.
2020. Okay.
After you saw these statements for the first time, did you form an understanding as to where they appeared?
I didn't, as to where they had appeared, these statements.
In what publication?
No, off the bat, I didn't know exactly. It just seemed like a lot of word salad to me. I didn't know where they'd come from, or where they ended up. Or
Mr. Depp, do you recall Ms. Heard testifying that you did not assist her in getting her role in Aquaman?
yes, I do. Yes.
And what is your response to that? It's not exactly true. Do you know when Ms. Heard first auditioned for Aquaman?
Strangely, I know the date. Well, no, yes, I do know the date, because I was scheduled with my band, the Hollywood Vampires.
The audio's a little
we had
weird.
done 2 shows at the Roxy, which is a place in Los Angeles, to rehearse for we were invited to play at the Rock in Rio concert, which is a huge rock and roll festival.
There we go.
So we did the 2 shows to go to Rio and play there. Miss Heard wanted to come with me, and Whitney, her sister, had come as well. While we were there in Rio, we were rehearsing getting ready for the show, Miss Heard informed me that she would have to get back to Los Angeles for an audition, meaning it's basically after our 2-hour show or whatever, we would have to get on the plane immediately to make it back to Los Angeles for this audition. And that audition was
Yeah.
at Warner Brothers. It was
I think that's his first. That's actually
whatever film it was.
he did that
When
music
were you
before he was
performing at
acting.
the
Actually,
Rock in Rio.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that was I believe it was the 24th of September.
In what year?
That was 15.
What do you understand happened after Miss Heard auditioned for Aquaman?
After Ms. Heard's audition, or possibly auditions, for Warner Brothers and I suppose the creative team, Ms. Heard expressed to me that the film was going to be, Warner Brothers had said that the film was going to be shooting in Australia. And Australia was for Ms. Heard, that was a potential problem, which...
Objection, Your Honor. Your approach?
Okay.
your approach. Yeah, yeah, that's actually his first love. I think his first real. That's really what he wanted to do, and that's his thing. And all of his friends. That's why Amber Heard was making fun of them. He said, "Oh, they're a bunch of fat old men." And they play guitars all day. That's what they do. They play music all day in his house. And it's like those are his friends. Like they're his bandmates. They're his friends. That's what he That's what he loves to do is play music. And he even said he doesn't really even watch his movies. He doesn't even watch his films. And I forgot who it was. It was somebody famous. I'm not really sure, but I forget who. Somebody. But he suggested to him. He said, you should be an actor. Like you have that. Like whatever. He said you would be good at this. And he's like, okay, maybe because he needed money, I think, or something. I forget. Or maybe he did. Maybe I forget what it was. But someone did it. And a famous actor told him that he was friends with him at the time. And then I don't know how he met him. I don't know how they met, but he said, "Hey, you should try acting, man. Like you'd be good at that." And so he did. And then what do you know? He's like doing like Edward Scissorhands, doing all this crazy stuff, whatever. Oh, a lot of roles from that then on, and then, and he still does the music thing. He tours, and it seems like he always wanted to be a rocker, rock star, because he's got all the tattoos and. It's just his thing, But it's kind of interesting actually, because we all see him as like probably one of the most successful actors ever, and he's just like, yeah, it's just kind of like not a side job for him, but it's kind of like, yeah, that's not what I really want to do, but I'm happy it worked out. And now he's like, I can do what I really want, which is play music, Yeah, his friend was correct about that. And his friend, I mean, obviously it was, I forgot exactly who it was. Who was it exactly? Anyway, it was just another. I mean, they're actor too, so he must have saw it in him. And he's like, dude, you'd be good at this, man. I'm doing this for a living.
Mr. Depp, could
I
you
would
please
know.
continue? What happened after Miss Heard auditioned for Aquaman?
Let's see.
I was informed by Ms. Heard that the film was going to be shooting in Australia, and
it was Nicolas Cage.
that
Nicolas
that
Cage
was of,
did that.
Concern to her, and because it was of concern to Warner Brothers.
All right.
So she asked if I would, because I'd had a multi, for a few years I'd had a multi-film deal with Warner Brothers, and so we'd been in business together. So I knew these people, I've been on films with them. So she asked me if I would speak to them. I made a phone call and I spoke to,
Objection, hearsay, Your Honor.
That's hearsay.
I don't believe he said anything. I think he was going to say who he spoke to.
All right, we'll see. Overruled at this point.
Overruled.
I spoke to the three upper echelon Warner executives, Kevin Tsujihara, Sue Kroll, and Greg Silverstein. And I told them that...
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
All right, I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
What was the result of you speaking with those individuals?
Well, I can only say that ultimately she did get the job in the film. So hopefully I suppose I had curbed their worries to some degree.
Mr. Depp, do you recall Ms. Heard testifying that she saw you consume 8 to 10 MDMA pills while you were in Australia in March of 2015?
Yes, I do remember that.
How
I
many?
also remember her saying that I took a handful.
Objection beyond the scope. Question.
Sorry, that was extra
All
residue.
right, I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
How many times have you done MDMA in your life, Mr. Depp?
Actually, not that many times. I would say in my lifetime, MDMA
4?
6, 7.
Damn.
maybe.
And how much MDMA have you done on those occasions?
Not enough to properly. Well, not enough to properly experience what the
Negative side
chemicals
effects?
are supposed to do to you.
Have you ever consumed 8 to 10 MDMA pills at once?
No, ma'am. No, I have not.
And why is that?
Because I'd be dead. I'm pretty sure I'd be dead. I think one would die. Yes, and probably rather quickly.
Mr. Depp, I'd like to show you some pictures from the home in Australia that Ms. Heard testified about.
Sure.
Could we please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 1817, which is already in evidence?
Okay, here we go.
Mr. Depp, do you recognize what's depicted in this photograph?
Yes, I do. That's the downstairs bar of the house we rented in Australia.
And can you please show the
Yeah, show the
jury
picture.
where you were sitting when Ms. Heard threw the 2 vodka bottles at you?
If I touch this thing, it'll make a
Yes,
mark.
it will.
Yes. Okay. So
Show the pic.
this chair, that one here, was over here. And it was in pretty much when I was turned around they were on a swivel, so when I was turned around towards the bar, I'm facing the bar. When I turned around this way, this chair here was in pretty much exactly this same position as this chair. It was when I was facing Miss Heard, who was, let's say she was, if you're looking at the photograph, she would be about here.
Could you draw a line in the direction where Ms. Heard was relative to where you were sitting?
Yes, absolutely. So if I'm sitting here,
She's like, that's not how it
who's
went.
over here,
Although,
back here.
Approximately how far away from Ms. Heard from you was misheard, if you can recall.
But she knows that's how it went.
I would say it was probably 10, 12, 15 feet, maybe 10 feet, 12 feet.
And approximately where was your hand when the vodka bottle hit it?
It was leaning. My arm was leaning on the marble bar, right there where the imaginary seat is, and leaning, kind of just leaning back and looking at Miss Heard. She just walked away with the second bottle. I mean, she walked this way when she threw the first bottle, which is actually visible
Can
in
you
the
please
background
circle
on
where
the
the
floor.
first? Yeah. Could you please circle where the first bottle
Oh,
is?
sorry, excuse me. Yeah.
See, we have video, we have pictures, we have.
All that is the exploded first bottle.
Technically, we don't know exactly how it went because we don't have footage of it, but
It went past my head.
But
And
we have-
the second bottle
we have medical records and everything. You know.
hit right up here where my hand was
Damn.
resting on the marble bar.
Finally, they show the picture. You know.
Can we please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 1820?
Okay. Now
Mr. Depp, do you
this is a
recognize
good,
what's depicted in
good
this
camera.
photograph?
good camera work
This is
here.
behind that very bar.
And what do you see on the floor in this picture?
I see what looks to me like some kind of napkin. It looks sullied, soiled, blood, I don't know. And I see glass in the corner, blood obviously on the floor, and a towel leaning up on something.
Do you know how that bloody tissue got on the floor?
My best guess,
Objection calls for speculation.
Sustained?
Do you know how the blood got on the floor, Mr. Depp?
I know how the blood got on the floor. It came from my dripping finger. So
Yeah.
that's why the tissue
Just came from,
is
just my little cut off finger.
99.9% sure, since it is, looks like it's got blood on it as well, is what I held my finger with.
Do you see the wall on the left side of the photograph?
I do.
Was there a wall-mounted phone on that wall?
On the left side of the photo. No, I didn't. No.
Ooh, that destroys her
Not that I
story,
recall, no.
doesn't it? Didn't she claim he was like?
Could we please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 394, which is already in evidence?
Yes, ma'am.
No phone.
Mr. Depp, do you recognize this text message?
I do.
And what is this message?
Jeez.
It's a text to Dr. Kipper.
And
I'm sorry, just reading through.
Yeah, I'm reading this too. It's crazy.
Yeah, this is my text to Dr. Kipper, who had just happened to be in town, telling him that I've had it and that
He does say technically.
I just lost a finger.
I cut the top of my
fingertip.
middle finger, but it's in the context is
How long
he's saying
after
from
your
her.
finger had been injured
He's
did
saying
you
from
send
her.
this text message, if you can recall?
It's hard to tell because when I look at the timestamp, it says delivered 3/7/2015, 5 o'clock. But I know that because of Australia time,
Right.
it was the 8th, and it was probably, the whole thing lasted probably until about 2 p.m. Or so, when that was when Kipper was called, Jerry was brought in, Jerry Judge, sorry, excuse me.
So do you have an estimate as to how long after your finger had actually been injured that you sent this message?
I don't think it was very long. I think it was probably within the next, I'm sure it was in the next half hour or so. I would have had to sneak into a bathroom, lock myself in to type this out.
And how were you able to send this text message to Dr. Kipper in the state that you were in?
Good point. That's a good question, though. I mean, that's a good question.
Well, he wasn't available at the time, so just sort of thumb your way through, don't you?
Gotta thumb your way through, yeah.
How long after sending this text message did you see Dr. Kipper?
Do it 4 fingers at a time.
I don't recall, but I think it took them probably 30 minutes or more, 30 to 40 minutes to get there.
And what did Dr. Kipper do when he first arrived at the home?
Oh, the first thing he wanted to do was inspect the damage of my finger and try and figure out exactly what had happened, how it happened.
And what did you tell Dr. Kipper about how your finger had been injured?
Objection, Your Honor.
May we
You're
approach?
saying
All
we've
right,
discussed
that's
this
fine.
several times.
Let's go.
Wow. Okay. Well, as you can see here, so this is a text, I think, or no, or I don't know, whatever. It's a message. It might have been email. Looks like text. I don't know. A message outgoing to Dr. Kipper, but it's David Kipper. Anyway, he just went raving on about how she's vindictive and calling her all kinds of names, but it did say in their text, it did say I cut the top of my finger off, but the context it said some above it and after it, before and after it, that it's from her. I got to get away from her. She's crazy. And something in there that was interesting. He was saying that she was addicted to, or not addicted to, but that Amber Heard was actually, yeah. Let me see. Actually, I don't want to go back to it, but it was saying something about how she needed not attention. She needed she's addicted to fame or whatever, and she was like basically using him for that, or whatever. So she wants attention. She wants that success. She wanted to kind of, I don't know if she wanted to coattail it. She already had a thing going on, but I'm not gonna put that on her too much, to be honest. I don't want to. I think that's kind of a weaker argument, or weak. It's still something. It still works, but it still shows how she is in a negative light. But I'm not gonna put that too much on her. That she's like, oh, I wouldn't use. That's not too convincing as much as everything else. That because that's what a lot of people do that. They're like, oh, this person's famous, or not famous, but in this case, yeah, famous, or they're attractive, or they're wealthy, they're popular, whatever. Those things you usually do date people for that reason,
Mr. Depp, when Dr. Kipper was treating your finger, what did you tell him about how your finger became injured?
See, except see, I'm jumping into anything. I'm embarrassed for jumping into anything with her.
I mean, when you saw the
Anyway.
damage in the house and everything, the blood everywhere, I mean, obviously there was serious damage there would be no point in lying to the man. He'd been through it with me and Ms. Heard before. I told him that she had thrown a bottle of vodka and smashed and cut my finger off, the tip of my finger. Just, but a good chunk. I miss it.
Jeez.
Mr. Depp, you heard Ms. Heard testify about an alleged incident of abuse on your honeymoon. Do you remember that?
I remember her testifying to that, yes.
And when did you and Ms. Heard go on your honeymoon together?
I believe it was somewhere in the neighborhood of August, because I just finished the film. Maybe end of July, August. I'm not quite good on the exact date.
Do you recall the year?
It was 2015, I believe.
And where did you and Ms. Heard go on your honeymoon?
We took the Orient Express from Bangkok, Thailand to Singapore.
And what happened while you and Ms. Heard were together on the Orient Express?
There were times when it was very agreeable, very nice. And then there were times when something had become dissatisfactory for her, and she would start the rant, the blooming of a fight would be on deck there, and at one point it didn't. I mean, I don't remember it lasting long at all. I just remember that I took a pretty good shot to the face, to the eye, to somewhere up here. So I had a bit of a shiner. But the
Damn.
it all ended, and then everything got fine again, and we'd go to dinner, and it was all fine.
Did Ms. Heard ever apologize to you for giving you the shiner?
I don't recall.
Can we please pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 162, which is already in evidence?
So she's just like really toxic in relationships, and I get that. That's
Mr.
I mean, I
Depp,
don't.
do you recognize
it's
this
not good.
photograph?
Not
It
good.
was with the
Maybe a little worse than that.
The chef and the maitre d' and the staff were asking if they could take a photo
Aw.
of this, and they'd been very kind.
nice. That's nice.
It's a
And
private dinner card.
so where was this photograph taken?
That was in the that looks like it's in the, yes, that's towards the back of the Orient Express. That's in the back train bar compartment, and just out back you could smoke on the sort of caboose or whatever.
And what, if any, injuries do you have in this photograph?
Here, let me check this.
I think the eye's a little bit bugged out, if you will. It's yeah.
How did that happen?
Oh yeah, he has a little bruise right here. Well, you know, it's kind of hard to tell. Let's be real. I'm gonna be
These
honest.
things
It's a little
could
hard to
happen
tell.
very quickly. If
I mean, the picture is not the
if
best
you
quality.
disagreed,
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive. She just asked, how did that happen?
I believe he was about to explain.
Well, I'll state the objection.
Okay.
What?
Mr. Depp, specifically, how did the injury in this photograph occur?
I'm sure it hit me.
Okay, there you go. That's straightforward for you.
Does this picture accurately reflect what you looked like on that date?
I don't look at myself much, but it certainly looks like me with a black eye.
Does this picture appear to have been photoshopped in any way?
No, I think no.
It's
I think
grainy.
It would be difficult to photograph or to start getting into sort of digital processing.
He's like, he doesn't
a
know
number of
Photoshop.
people in the shot, especially in a wide shot.
That's charming, actually.
Could we please pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 1301? And
That's
this
kind of
is
that's kind of
the
endearing.
one, Your
Someone who
Honors,
just
this is not in evidence.
just like not into all the tech stuff. They're just kind of like, I don't know. It's just a picture. It's like
Mr.
innocent.
Depp, do you recognize what's reflected in this photograph?
Yes, this is the staff. It's the manager and his staff at the Raffles Hotel in Singapore. And before we left, they asked if they could take a photograph with us.
And when was this photograph taken?
Well, that would have been, we were off the Orient Express. We stayed in Raffles, I believe, a couple of
That's what I thought.
few
He was
days.
in that movie.
And then from there we flew to San Francisco.
So this photograph was taken after the photograph we just looked at?
This photograph was taken after the photograph in the dining car of the train, yes.
Your Honor, I'd move Plaintiff's Exhibit 1301 into
All right,
evidence.
any objection?
Oh, happy honeymoon. So it's
Any,
31st of October.
any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, 1301 is in evidence, can be published to the jury.
Mr. Depp, what, if any, injuries do you see on your face in this photograph?
There's no way to tell this. Come
I
on.
see pretty much
Oh.
the same.
Yeah, he does have a little bit of a thing there, huh?
I see that the area in here has been, well, it's
I'm still gonna say I can't tell. I'm not an expert on
swollen
this.
And,
I mean, I can see, but I don't know if that's proof.
yeah,
100%
there's a
proof.
bit of a shiner there.
But I'll believe him. I'll believe him.
Thank you. We can take this down.
She doesn't have marks, but he does, right? I mean, there's that. That's true.
Mr. Depp, do you recall Ms. Heard testifying that she punched you in the staircase incident because she thought of Kate Moss in the stairs?
Do I remember her saying that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. 3 times. Yes, I do.
Yeah. I just want to be fair, you know.
Do you
like,
have any
I don't want to
understanding
be
as
like,
to
yeah,
what
yeah.
Ms. Heard was referring to?
It's proof.
Yes, I do.
And
As Kate Moss, Kate testified, it was many, many years ago.
See, I'm not being like Pokemon. I'm being actually unbiased right now. Well,
And what exactly
mostly
what
unbiased.
happened is
I'm a little bit
what
biased.
she said happened.
Not gonna lie, a little bit.
I recall speaking with Ms. Heard about that very incident because of the downpouring of rain, because it was raining very heavily that day that Kate slipped. And I recalled the story to her.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
may we approach Your Honor?
Hearsay. May we approach the bench? Hi. Down on your knee. Boom. Right? Like samurai just ending it. You have honored the empire. May we approach, my liege. May we approach. Hi. Sir. I don't know. They actually don't say that. We may approach, sir. Kill me. It's just, I don't know. That's what I was
Please
thinking
continue,
of.
Mr. Depp. What did you tell Ms. Heard about the staircase, or Kate Moss?
I don't know what I was
I'll
thinking.
make it easy for Mr. Rottenborn. Miss Heard took the story and turned it into a very ugly incident, all in her mind. There was never a moment where I pushed Kate down any set of stairs. Yet she's spewed this 3 times before.
Objection,
Yes.
Your Honor. Ms. Heard simply testified that she had heard a rumor, and that's
What's a rumor?
non-responsive to the question.
Sir, hold on. This
Sorry.
objection. I'll overrule the objection.
Misstates the facts and evidence.
It's getting
Overrule the
heated.
objection.
Sorry, I was drawn by Mr. Rottenborn's voice. What
Yo!
would you like? Was it?
Sorry, I was distracted by that idiot over there.
So what specifically
Yo!
had you actually told Miss Heard about the incident with Miss Moss and the stairs?
Very simply that we were in Jamaica. I had left our bungalow about 3 minutes prior to her. I was standing outside, and
I think she's
suddenly
power hungry.
rain starts just coming down like it's,
Well, not just hungry, power fed.
monsoon. And then I remember looking and seeing Kate coming out the door, and there were 3 little wooden stairs, and she slipped, her legs went up, and she landed directly on her coccyx and her lower back. So, and she was obviously physically in pain, and she was hurt, she was crying. So I ran over and grabbed her to make sure she was all right. That's it. That's all I ever. That's the whole story. But then
So she
the
slipped?
rumor of it, I'd never heard a rumor of that before Miss Heard grabbed hold of it
Yeah, what the heck? What is that about? Why'd she make that up?
like that. I'm sorry.
He pushed her.
Mr. Depp,
I
we heard
saw it.
testimony from
Like-
Miss Heard's sister, Whitney, during this trial. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And how would you describe your relationship with Whitney when you were in a relationship with Miss Heard?
I liked Whitney very much. Initially, I mean, when I first met her, I liked her very much, and grew to love Whitney very much, because I always, it seemed, Whitney, Amber's sister, Whitney seemed to always get the sort of dirty end of the stick, and I felt bad for her for that, because it wasn't new. It had been there for life, and that was seemed pretty obvious. So I took to Whitney very, very quickly, very easily. She was a very sweet kid. She was wonderful.
What do you mean that Whitney got the
see.
dirty
Okay.
end of the stick?
I get it. I'm like real. Okay, that was weird. I was just listening to the.
It was
Well,
a kind of a
just listen to the
strange
clip.
combination of loving sister, trusted sister and friend, and then lackey, and then, either the punching bag or the dartboard, or the recipient of some rather demeaning and ugly words, or she would have wine thrown in her face.
And who was the source of those demeaning words and the wine that you just referenced?
Well, that would be Amber Heard, her sister.
Obviously.
How do you know that?
Well, I witnessed quite a lot of it. The wine in the face was something that happened in New York, which I think that even made it into the papers. I believe that even made it into the papers. It was in an elevator.
How did you first learn about that incident?
Miss Heard told me in detail.
What else did you observe of Ms. Heard and her sister Whitney's interactions during your relationship with Ms. Heard?
They were just constantly up and down, but I could sense, I could feel that Whitney was trying to please her sister, trying to be up to snuff, and it just seemed like she got shot down.
Objection,
every
Your
time.
Honor. This has gone beyond the scope of the question or his foundation for knowledge of that.
Your Honor, I asked what he observed, between them. I think this is responsive to that.
And his testimony as to what Whitney felt is
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
All right. All right. Fine.
Did you ever see Ms. Heard physically attack Whitney?
No, I've never seen any full-on blowouts, physical blowouts between them. Tons of verbal blowouts.
objection beyond the scope.
Overruled.
I've certainly seen Miss Heard grab Whitney, push her around. There were a number. There were half a dozen times when some of us, whoever was in the general vicinity, would have to leave. This is at Orange, when Whitney and Amber were living at Orange. Whitney and her boyfriend at the time, Sean Krajewski, and we had to leave the apartment and
Why
wait
was
in the car while they fought.
And when you say fought, do you mean
Physical.
physically or?
Physical. Damn.
And when you said Ms. Heard would push Whitney around, do you mean that the physically push her or metaphorically?
Welcome back.
Both.
Welcome back.
You heard Whitney testify that she lived in Penthouse 4 at the Eastern
So
Columbia
she would-
building for a time, correct?
That is correct, yes.
So this is talking about evidence of her
How did
history.
Whitney
with-
come to live in
hurting other
Penthouse
people.
4?
My recollection when Whitney first
Yeah,
came to
She's being very
stay at
smug
the,
right now. She's kind of intimidating
Eastern
him a little bit
Columbia
with her
building,
little
Penthouse
her
4
stares.
was- she and her boyfriend, Sean, had broken up. And
Or trying to.
she needed a place to go. And so Amber asked if she could stay in Penthouse 4, and I said, well, of course, of course, you know.
How long did Whitney live in Penthouse 4?
It was well over a year, on and off.
Did you ever ask Whitney to move out of Penthouse 4?
No, I did not, no.
Why did Whitney ultimately move out of Penthouse 4?
Objection, foundation.
It's his apartment, Your Honor. He was living there.
Oh, overruled.
Overruled. Nice. Okay. Good. You get to hear the story now.
Whitney moved out of Penthouse 4 long before the marriage. And it was due to an argument that Ms. Heard and Whitney had, which had to do with Whitney working at the Art of Elysium with Jennifer Howell and those people.
So Whitney is her sister.
And,
The stream's getting a little chunky. Sorry, guys.
Amber asked her to leave.
It's gonna go up
Get
and
out.
down again.
Where did Whitney live when she moved out of Penthouse 4?
My understanding is she went to live with Jennifer Howell.
So Whitney is her
Your Honor, I know
sister,
you,
and she was hurting her
anticipated
sister, hitting
having
her.
a motion at noon.
You can keep going. That's
Okay.
fine. We can. How much longer in direct do you have?
So
I have a bit.
Okay, that's okay. Go
So it seems like
Mr. Depp, do you
Never mind.
recall
Oh,
hearing
wait.
testimony during Ms. Heard's case from Mr. Mandel?
Yes, I do.
And who is that?
Mr. Mandel is my former business manager of 17 and a half years, who, at a certain point, I discovered had been embezzling quite a lot of money. So I had to take action against him and he and my lawyer of 17 and a half years, as they were in cahoots, as it were. And so yes, Joel Mandel is and they settled their case with me. They made their settlement. But yes, it was the big. That was a very Joel Mandel is a very bitter man who ended up with a lot of money that I worked hard for over the years.
Do you recall Mr. Mandel testifying in this case that you do not spend very much money on charity?
That I don't. Sorry.
That you do not spend very much money on charity?
Objection, Your Honor.
You just want to
Can we
approach?
approach?
Okay.
And there we go. Oh no, the stream's getting there. Anyway, I guess there's a common theme with Amber. It seems like her and her sister were just like that before. Just like very punchy. You know, they probably were very physical. I don't know if she has a brother. I mean, where did they get that from? And it makes sense why her sister's kind of defending that, I guess. Yeah, someone like Amber, yeah, she's taking advantage of that, you know.
Mr. Depp, just to remind you, my question was, what is your response to Mr. Mandel's testimony that you do not spend very much on charity?
I do have a take on that.
My response to that is Mr. Mandel
I'm gonna note it.
is a very bitter man, and one thing about that
Got notes.
me, myself personally, with regard to charity donations, sending money to a charity, I prefer. I would rather that my name were not on it. I don't want the name to be the important thing or the thing that people talk about. So when I donate money, I donate without my name being involved because I don't see that that's important, my name being there in terms of money. Now, if I am able to
he likes to go there actually, like physically.
hospitals, or if I'm able to meet with Make-A-Wish children, I've held on to the relationships that I've held on to within the Make-A-Wish Foundation and the Children's Hospital and various other places. Then obviously my name is involved. When we held premieres in Leicester Square for several films, Charlie and the
Objection, Your Honor.
Chocolate Factory.
Again, beyond the scope of his response to Mr. Mandel's testimony.
I believe this is in response to Mr. Mandel.
I'll overrule the objection.
Nice.
Basically, when it was a public, let's call it donation or whatever,
Yeah.
I would talk to the studio. I would talk
There's a
to
lot.
Disney. I would talk to Warner Brothers. I would talk to whoever the studio was well before the premiere. And make the premiere a benefit.
It's overwhelming evidence. Lots of evidence showing that
We did a benefit premiere for Great Ormond Street Hospital.
He's an upstanding guy.
A couple of benefit premieres for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I mean, if you can turn a premiere with
he has issues,
thousands and thousands and thousands
doesn't?
of people there into a benefit, it works and it helps, but it wasn't presented under my name. You know, it was Disney's doing this or Warner Brothers is doing this. I'm not looking for the pat on the back, as it were. If I can make it happen, great. But I don't need the pat on the back. I don't need the adulation. I don't need the attention.
It's pretty admirable. It actually is. He's like that. Actually, this correlates
Did
with
you
the.
hear Ms. Heard testify that one of the charities she donated a portion of your divorce settlement to was the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles?
Yes.
What is your relationship with the CHLA?
Objection, Your Honor. Irrelevant.
It correlates with how he said he doesn't even like he doesn't watch his own movies because he just doesn't, he's not about that. It's just a job, or it's just like, whatever. And he enjoys it, but he said, this it's kind of, he's like that. I don't know, it's just his personality, what it seems like his character is. He likes to do stuff, or he likes to do these things. He'll do his work, he'll act, or he'll do charities, and usually, like he said, it's a pattern. Even Amber admitted this. I think she was trying to say he doesn't want to give money. He's trying to be cheap by going there physically, so he doesn't spend money. That's possible. I mean, I don't know if she was kind of I don't know if she didn't literally say that, but I think she was kind of, or somebody was trying to insinuate that. But he's like that. He does these things, and then he's like, yeah, I don't really, I don't need the credit, or I don't really need, It's like he does. Wait. That's her sister right there. That's the Whitney, right? Uh-oh. But yeah, he doesn't, stream's getting a little chunky again. Dang. It's choppy. But, yeah, he does this. It's a pattern. So this is believable. This is good information. He does these charities, and he's like, yeah, I don't really, I just do it because I don't need it. I don't need the credit, or, He said, and he admits, everyone would like a little bit, like, yeah, I did something nice, come on, but he's just doing it because it feels good to help others, or I don't know his reason. Sometimes people in Hollywood feel guilty for having so much. It's very common. Or maybe it's like, I'm bored, or I have a lot of money, and there's a lot of people, I just want to help people, That's just a normal human thing. Amber Heard, however, said she was going to donate. She didn't finish the donation. She only put a little bit in, so she can get credit for like the $7 million instead of for $7 million. She said she promised, and then she didn't finish. She didn't actually do it. So she wanted. It's the opposite. She wanted credit. Look at me. I donated $7 million. She wanted the credit, and then she didn't fulfill it. He said he doesn't want the credit, but he actually is doing stuff, and we may not know about it, or we have seen him do events. He goes to hospitals and stuff, or at least he did before his reputation was destroyed. But yeah, it's just honestly, if he wasn't doing that kind of stuff, I think it would be harder for his case, because if he wasn't doing all these charities, because we know he does this stuff. But if he didn't, it'd be like, I don't know, maybe he's guilty. I don't know. He's not that nice of a guy.
What is your relationship with the CHLA?
I've had a relationship with the CHLA for probably 20 years or so.
And what's the nature of that relationship?
Well, essentially, sometimes there are Make-A-Wish kids who are in the hospital there, and that their wish is to...
Objection, Your Honor.
Your Honor, may we approach?
Yeah. It's just not looking good for her. It's just not looking good. Stream is, it's chunking. It's choppy. But yeah. Let's see how many we got going on here with the, they do this a lot. They have to approach the bench a lot. It's a lot of information. It's just really, they have to discuss, you know, if they're allowed to talk about certain things or not. And, you know, it's getting intense. There's one of his, one of the witnesses. I think that's one of them. A couple of them, maybe. That was one of the guys, I think. No, never mind. I'm wrong.
Mr. Depp, I'd like to take you back to exactly 6 years prior to this week, the week of May 21st through May 27th, 2016. What happened at the beginning of that week?
May 21st.
Excuse me, May 20th.
May 20th. This is we're talking 2016 here.
Yes.
May 20th, the afternoon of May 20th, afternoon, evening, my mom made her exit. She'd been fighting cancer numerous times and for many years, and she fought all the way to the end. And so my mother passed away on the 20th of May. Which does bring instant perspective into one's mind. I spoke to Amber that night. I called her on the telephone, explained to her that my mom had passed, that Isu had passed, and that I thought that the best thing we could do was to that I file for
Your Honor,
divorce.
hearsay. What Mr. Depp told Ms. Heard.
We can move on, Your
Okay,
Honor.
yes, ma'am.
Mr. Depp, what happened at the end of that week on May 27th, 2016?
May 27th, my daughter's birthday. May 27th, I was not in Los Angeles. I was on the way to on tour, and that was when Miss Heard went for the restraining order. And oh yeah, also that was the day that Alice Through the Looking Glass, a film I'd done, was opening.
Did Miss Heard know that you were out of town on May 27th?
Yes.
And how would she have known that?
Well, I told her I was going on tour. I mean, that was well established.
How long were you going to be out of town on that tour?
2 to 3 months.
And did Miss Heard know how long you'd be out of town?
I don't know if she knew exactly how long I'd be out of town, but it was a pretty extensive tour of Europe.
How did Miss Heard's actions on May 27th, 2016 affect you?
Changed everything.
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance.
Oh, it didn't change
in
everything?
This lawsuit.
Sorry.
Sure, if you could wait till the objection, please.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Relevance.
Tourette's.
Your Honor, this is one of the key
If you want to
dates.
approach.
I'll do it like that. It's out of the way. Yeah, he's getting a little feisty with the with her lawyer. At this point, I'd be too, though. I wonder what he's drinking. He's been having that, sipping on that for days. Probably coffee. Is he a coffee guy? I don't know. Seems like he's chill. Maybe it's like a... Maybe it's just water. Maybe it's a tea. But yeah, that's true. I mean... Objection. Overruled. No. Beyond the scope. Overruled. No, it's yeah, so it doesn't really, you know, his charitability isn't you know, it doesn't really do much for the whole legal stuff, but it definitely, you're right. Yeah, it's going to help with sway the jury. I find it interesting, and I'm curious because they haven't seen everything we've seen. I mean, they have. Sorry, they have, but they're not online. They're not talking to other people because they're not allowed to. They're not allowed to watch clips. They're not allowed to talk to other people or get other outside information, right, about the case. So, I wonder if they're in a bubble. I don't know if you can be. It's kind of, but I wonder if the jury's in a bubble. And they don't know that everyone's like, you know, on Depp's side. I'm sure they have to know. And I wonder if Amber is in a bubble too, where she's just like, I know I'm gonna win. Like she doesn't know that everyone's against her, but I have a feeling she kind of gets it. He drinks a lot of tea. She said that. Well, there you go. It's tea. Now I know there's a lot of evidence too. Even that's enough. Johnny's team has admitted that, you know, he I don't know if he abused drugs, but he would drink, and he was a lot of it was coping for a lot of stuff he's going through, which is understandable. Okay, shh. Come here. Oh gosh, what a baby! This one. But yeah, yeah, I think he was coping. He had a lot of trauma, and about trauma, it's possible. But I mean, he was going through a lot of abuse. He was a lot of stress. She's Amber Heard's toxic. Yeah, I don't know why she made a big deal about it. That's probably tea then.
Mr. Depp, what has it been like for you to listen to Ms. Heard's testimony at this trial?
I'm sorry?
What has it been like for you to listen to Ms. Heard's testimony at this trial?
Objection, relevance, Your Honor.
Oh, overruled.
Insane. It's insane to hear heinous accusations of violence, sexual violence, that she's attributed to me, that she's accused me of. I don't think anyone enjoys having to split themselves open and tell the truth. But
calm down, Blue.
there are times when one just simply has to, because it's gotten out of control. Horrible.
Yeah, this is my dog. A little pup.
Ridiculous, humiliating, ludicrous.
He's too
painful,
loud. He's too loud.
Savage. Unimaginably brutal, cruel, and all false.
Blue.
All false. I wanted I no human being is perfect, certainly not. None of us. But I have never in my life committed sexual battery, physical abuse, all these outlandish, outrageous stories of me committing these things and living with it for 6 years and waiting to be able to bring the truth out. So this is not easy for any of us. I know that. But no matter what happens, I did get here, and I did tell the truth, and I have spoken up for what I've been carrying on my back reluctantly for 6 years.
6 years, man. 6.
Thank you. No further questions.
6 years.
Did you want to take lunch
Did-
at this point, or just?
And I remember when,
All right,
yeah.
let's do that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and take lunch this time. Do not discuss this case with anybody, and don't do any outside
All right, so
research. Okay?
this is like an
Thank
hour break, and then they come back. Man, that's insane.
And don't break anything on your way out. Thank you.
So yeah, 6 years. He said 6 years of that, and I mean, I remember when it was like the media, everyone was talking crap about him.
All right. So just a reminder that since you are back on the stand, do not discuss this case with anybody, to include your attorneys at this point, okay? If you could just have a seat back there. We do have some other issues to take care of. Before we take care of the third-party motion, can I
Yeah,
have
we're supporting him.
attorneys come forward on
And you know what?
our,
If we found out he was lying for some reason, she was telling the truth, of course I'd be like, all right, well, I guess he was a liar. But I mean, come on, we know it's pretty much what we see is pretty much what it, what is, right? So far, it's insane. 6 years, 6 years of this, 6 years, and there's so many movies he got kicked out of that I was really disappointed, because I was getting into Fantastic Beasts, and I was like, that's, and Pirates. I was like, he's not going to be in the next Pirates. And then Fantastic Beasts, he was in the the Grindelwald thing. He was supposed to be playing. Anyway, he was good in the first movie, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is cool. I like this. And then they're like, yeah, he's not going to be in the next one. And it's like, and it's because of this stuff, the drama. It's just like these, and of course, it's not as bad. Of course, we're it's like it's just movies, but still, the fans were upset, and but worse than that is the stuff he had to go through, because he had to go through all this. But I think this is great for him, even if he loses, which I think he's gonna win. I believe he's gonna win. I hope so. Yeah, I'm also like near 100% sure. Everyone feels that way. I always leave a little room for possibility, that it could be different, but it's just because, I don't want to, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna, but yeah, it seems like that. It seems like he's, Fan. Yeah. Well, I think he's definitely gained more followers after this. I won't say I'm a huge. I don't know. I don't know if I call myself a fan, but I definitely. I don't know. I like him. I think he's a good. I know. So far, it seems like he's a good person, and I think he's a great actor. I like his movies and stuff. I like what he does, and yeah, I like what he does. I like his work. I think he's a really good actor, and he's humble about it, which is great. Not a lot of people like that. There were things that he said years ago which I didn't, which is kind of interesting because stuff he said years ago, I was disagreeing with. He was saying a lot of. He's getting kind of political and aggressive and stuff like that with certain things, and I didn't like that he was saying those things. But it's like I'm able to separate those from, I can disagree with like two things and still not hate the person. And here we are today. You'd think I would, if you saw that, if you saw those things you sang and you heard me saying like, oh, what the heck, man? Why don't you shouldn't be saying that stuff. Or I completely disagree with that. You wouldn't think I'd be defending him right now, but gotta do the right thing. You gotta tell the truth, and this is, the right thing is to, right now it's obviously on his side. The truth is on his side. Anyway, so we're gonna come back to it, I think, after a bit. This is where I usually play some games and stuff. Sometimes we get some more people on here, and people come into the stream and come out of the stream, all day. So it's kind of that's how it is. It's a little choppy right now, but we'll definitely check back in when this starts up. I think I'm gonna wait for them to leave because I don't know if this is an official hour break right now. I think it might be. I don't know. I'm gonna check their chat and see. Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to agree with people. You don't have to agree with everything. You don't have to agree. You don't have to. And that's another thing. And that's another topic. I guess another rant for another time. But at least here we have the whole freedom of speech arguments and stuff. And I look at that as a compassionate thing. Because the whole point of it is to defend, or the whole freedom of speech thing is to let basically the people you don't like talk. Crazy people with opinions if you think they're evil, you think people are the most vile, horrible people, the people you don't want to, like, they shouldn't be able to say that. That's pretty much what that law is for, or that rule. It's for them to be able to do that. Because at some point, it may turn on you. You might be the person who everyone's like, I don't like that person. They shouldn't be able to say anything. It's like, well, I think it's compassionate to protect the minority, to protect the minority opinions, to protect the minority, the small group. It's the little guy, or girl, or whatever, or dog. You gotta let people say, and of course there's there's circumstances where it's a little bit much, but I'm talking about direct threats or something, like legal stuff, but yeah, you gotta let people, everybody's got their thing. Let's read this chat real quick. Let's read the chat. Sorry, it's going by. It was a little bit of a rant. I never ended up playing the. Oh, you played it. You played Mobile Legends. Jeez, you played till 8 a.m. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh no, I got you addicted. Don't put any money into it, okay? Do not put any money into it. Take breaks. Take breaks from it, please. Do not get addicted. No, it's fun. I just honestly, I'm gonna be real. I didn't expect that. I was just playing it because it was on the top. I mean, I saw it was really popular in Asia. Tons of people are playing it live. And what do you know? Everybody wants to see it. But yeah, I was just casually playing it, and then people like, the more people that come in the stream, the more amped I'm getting. I'm like, oh, you guys want to see it, huh? You want to see the game? Let's go. Let's go. Whoa. I'm getting crazier. It's like each person, little dopamine, get a little crazy. You know, they're like, hey, Taki, why don't you use this build? Use the pro build. Okay, fine. No, don't use that one. Use this one. Okay, fine. Hey, put $10 into it. I don't have the money, but okay. You know, they're getting me crazy. But no, but I love it. I love it. That's basically what happened last night. That's what happened. I was just kind of like chilling, like, yeah, okay, this is fun. I'm gonna beat some mobile players, and then boom, Chris Talbot. If you don't know, he's in the stream every day. You know what it is? I think it's a bot, just from the fact of his name. He posts the same thing every day. He goes on. I think he goes on every stream. It would never be a stream without Chris. He always talks about Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, 3 days. But you know what's funny? He was gone for 3 days, or 2 days. On the first time I was streaming, he was gone for 2 days. On the third day, he comes back and he posts. And I said, and I made a joke about it, how Chris returned. No, Chris, you're the one who returned after 3 days. But he's doing it every day now. Forgive every one of their sins. Yeah. Okay, amen to that, man. Amen to that, Chris. He's a goober. I don't even know if it's a he. I mean, I don't know what it's got to be. I don't know. It's an AI. But yeah, my take. I have another take too on this. Before we get into anything else, but so I think it is an hour break. We're gonna come back. Probably now it's like 30-40 minutes. We can play a little. I'm gonna play a little something in between this, but yeah. So Amber Heard. I think Amber Heard. We're talking about she was like hurting or taking advantage of. He's alive. She's taking advantage of She's taking advantage of Johnny. Johnny's kind of he's kind of this pacifist kind of guy. He's kind of chill. I think she's. I don't know if anyone's heard of shit testing. I know it's kind of maybe that's an offensive term. I don't know, but it's just kind of it's the idea that it's the thing about like, oh, women are trying to test their man to see if he's put him through trials or put him through bully him a little bit to see if he can handle it, and if he can, then they're like, oh, okay, he's a strong guy because he can handle me bullying him a little bit. Now I don't know if that's a normal thing, but it seems like this is like her extreme way of doing that, and I don't want to like make it seem, because it's not normal, it's not good, the way she's doing it. But she's like kind of it seems like she's testing him in this toxic way. She's like punching him and she's getting all crazy, but it's possible it's just beyond that. It is beyond. It's going to the point of just straight abuse, because she's just, yeah. So, but I think there might be some of that in there too, where she's just like, if he was able to handle me punching him, then it would show that he's a strong guy. But he's just like, he's not like that. He's not doing that for her. He's just like, yeah, you can keep punching me if you're going to keep abusing me. And then he's just like, I'm going to leave then. And she hates that. It's kind of sad. But we're Team Johnny right now. Let's hope he wins this. I think he's got a good case, so. Yeah, and I'm not saying everybody's like that. I wouldn't, I'm not going to say that, but it's just a term. It's a thing that's been talked, It's a YouTube. In the YouTube relationship, YouTube zone. There's like there's different areas in YouTube. That's like that area. They talk about that. So I don't know. it came up a little bit. I was thinking like, oh, maybe she's kind of testing him a little bit with her aggression and her punches and her mind games, but that could explain too. I mean, Johnny's like, he stayed with her for a long time. You know, he's probably not the kind of guy to. He doesn't like breaking people's hearts. He seems like a pleaser. You know, like he likes to make people happy. So that would make sense why he didn't. Took so long. Anyway. But yeah, it's sad. It's sad, but we have a good ending to it because now we get to hear the story. I think that's justice in itself. And her reputation's going to be a little tarnished. There's her sister Whitney right there. I think, I keep forgetting that, her name and everything, what her face is, but that's her sister. I don't know who that is. But every time we watch this, everyone's like, Johnny! And they're like, yeah, hey. And he waves to everybody while he leaves. But yeah. For right now, I don't know. We're going to maybe play a little something. I don't want it to be something too... I don't know. I don't want to get off of this too much because it's going to pop up really quick. It's going to pop up really, really fast again. Yeah, if we had a crazy chat right now, crazy booming chat, it would be and you know what I think I need on this stream? I think I need to get music. I think I need to get that music license so I can have a little like little a little something chill while we're going, you know? So that'd be a nice little boost to this. A nice little enhancement. But yeah, we could play. I think I'm not a Clash master, but we can play a little of that, I guess, while I'm waiting for this. We can do that. Or Final Fantasy. I got some stuff I have to do on there. That's not too bad. Yeah, you know what? Let's just do a little fun. What on there? I have to do some feats. Those are kind of fun. Make a little gil. Make a little, which is the money in the game. A little bit of money. Virtual, fake. I mean, I had a clip of that where I was just talking about how I'm addicted to it. I'm addicted. My chat said I was addicted. They said you're not even playing the main story. You're not even doing the main game. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I didn't even finish the actual game. I was just grinding money, so. But yeah, I wouldn't blame you guys if you guys can come in and out of the stream as you guys please. No big deal. I'm going to edit the details of this really quick. Because we got our chat. And Final Fantasy. Yeah, streams it's going up and down still. At night I noticed it's like perfect. It's green, it's go. We're gonna go back to gaming, and then FXIV. This is how you have to do it on here. But connecting to server. Come on. Yeah, this game's a little bit, it could be a little slow, but we do the faster stuff, a little more intense, a little more fun stuff during the day. I think after the trial, get some more games in, and maybe we'll watch some clips maybe. Usually we do that with like a lunch, right? Lunch, eat that, or dinner or something, but at lunch we watch some clips or something. Some TikToks or something. I can't find it. Really, it's hard for me to find good TikToks. It's kind of hard for me. A lot of it, I'm like, okay, a little cringe, but you know, what can I say? I make cringe content too, so I'm not gonna blame. I can't really blame it. But yeah. Okay, so we have to go grind that. We have to grind that the gil. You guys can suggest if you guys want me to do anything. Actually, we have this when we're playing now. We have to do the monument flipper. We have to like monument flipper, where we have to. It's basically cleaning simulator. We clean up monuments and it's whatever. It's kind of it's a thing. So here we're gonna go to court this. We're gonna go foundation. I don't think this is like the #1 thing to stream Final Fantasy, but you know what? We have one of our regulars who our first regular from this game, from watching this. So gotta honor it a little bit. Gotta play a little bit more Mobile Legends, obviously. I didn't realize it was so popular. In Indonesia, they're like, it's popping off. It's crazy. I can't believe you know about this.
Mr. Tobin?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, sir?
Very well.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Tobin. If you could just come to the center.
Are we back?
Okay. Sure. Thank
Well, I
you, sir.
apologize. I didn't know. I thought it was going to be a huge break. I guess I don't have lunch break yet. It's alright. We have an hour anyway on this. We have an hour to do the events on here.
Certainly. Thank you.
I got to make this relatively short, as you can understand, but I wanted to take up your motion. I have read your motion and the declaration and everything attached to it in all the cases, and I have reviewed it, so I'd rather you not regurgitate that based on our time limit, but anything you wish to add to that is fine. If I could focus you a little
Please.
bit. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Yes, sir. As far as your comments about Virginia Rule of Evidence 2:508, that's a criminal rule of evidence, so that's not your
Understood.
strongest argument. And as far as what goes on is when or if the witness testifies, whether it's hearsay or it's third-party knowledge, that's something I'll deal with at trial. So again, not what I'm concerned with. As far as Supreme Court Rule 314, which I would like you to talk a little bit about that as far as intervention. And I got to tell you where I'm at right now. The issue I have with the argument is intervention obviously would make you a plaintiff or defendant in the case, and it has to deal with an issue that's germane to this case, and this is a defamation case. So if you could just tailor your argument to that issue, sir.
Sure. I'm happy to address the intervention. For the record, Your Honor, Charles Tobin from the law firm of Ballard Spahr.
Yes,
here
sir.
representing TMZ, which is the publisher of news and entertainment for the celebrity and entertainment industry. And Your Honor, we're seeking to intervene simply to protect the relationship between reporters and their sources when it comes to reporting news in the public interest. As the court noted, we really don't have a dog in this hunt as far as Mr. Depp, Ms. Heard. We're really here purely on the First Amendment-based issue of reporters' privilege and reporters and their sources. Your Honor, the intervention rule, as the court is aware, allows intervention by anybody where the issue is germane to the subject matter of the proceeding. And certainly, Your Honor, the purported testimony, the proffered testimony of a former employee of TMZ who purports to be in a position to disclose confidential information learned during the operation of journalism, during his work as a journalist, is a germane issue that is being raised in this case. And Your Honor, we would point the court to the Taft's, Fletcher, Malden, and Reed versus Southern Bank and Trust case, 213 Virginia Circuit, Lexus, 253. It's a Norfolk Circuit Court decision from 2013, and there it was an interpleader action. The funds had been interpleaded. The
event doesn't start for a bit, so
by two trust companies that were fighting over it, and the man who had sold his property, who had no interest in the funds themselves, intervened in the case because he was uncertain as to his liability for excess.
Yeah, it's cutting out.
It was an issue that was not directly in litigation between the two
connection's
parties.
pretty bad right now.
Cause of action between the two trusts fighting over the money that had been pleaded into the court. The circuit court held that certainly the rights of that man was going to be affected by the decision making in the case. He would be prejudiced if he didn't have an opportunity.
The connection's really bad right now.
He was in the position to assert his rights. And so similarly here, Your Honor, TMZ is a news
I got
organization.
mobile
It
connection.
routinely accepts information
Mobile tower.
as is
I gotta
common
use
in
phone
journalism
towers
under
for
exchanges
this.
of promises of
not good.
confidentiality. If it is not able to intervene in this action, and neither of the parties is going to be in a position to assert the reporter's privilege, it is TMZ's journalist privilege that we're talking about, then their rights are certainly going to be
Well,
prejudiced.
but if the witness, in all the cases, and I reviewed the cases that you had, in those cases, the witness was compelled to testify and came and was forced to testify, so there was an issue about the privilege of the witness. It's my understanding in this case, this
Yeah,
witness
sorry about that, guys.
wants to
Just
testify and is not under subpoena.
He has been subpoenaed.
some days
Or subpoena.
it's just choppy. Usually choppier now, and then later on. For some reason, late at night it's fine. But
Your Honor, I have a copy of a subpoena that was entered
man, last week was
night
perfect.
compelling Mr.
Like for
Tremaine
the entire
to give
week, it was all
testimony in
green,
this case.
perfect.
And so he
No
is coming under a
choppiness.
compulsion under
Well,
subpoena.
and
I-
if he takes a stand
But-
and he asserts some sort of privilege, then that's something I will deal with at that time.
Sure, but I'm here because of the scenario where he may not assert that privilege.
Right, exactly, and
And
that's
it is
why I'm saying all your cases that you showed were the opposite, where they did assert the privilege.
Well, it is a unique situation.
Right,
where-
and I understand you might have some issues with a former employee, and you have some avenues to go deal with that.
But once he testifies and the privilege is waived, we have lost our opportunity to intervene and
I
to
understand.
intercede.
All right.
And, Your Honor, the privilege, I know, Your Honor, you said you read the case law.
I did.
Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
But the privilege, it has been recognized by the Virginia Supreme Court in the Brown case and applied by the circuit courts uniformly. It is a very important underpinning of the relationship between reporters and sources and reporters and the public. Without the ability to enforce its promises, by current employees or former employees, a news organization will have absolutely no control over being able to enforce its promises. And so we would ask the court to permit us to intervene and to assert the privilege that belongs to TMZ, which is the organization, after all, Your Honor, that would be responsible to the source if the privilege were waived.
All right, I understand, Mr. Tobin, your argument. I appreciate it very much. Okay, did the parties wish to be heard?
Good morning, Your After. Good
Okay, I guess
afternoon,
they're
Your Honor. I'd like
continuing?
to begin where Your Honor began.
All right.
As a threshold matter, the court should deny TMZ's motion to intervene. Intervention is not appropriate for the reasons suggested in Your Honor's questions. As Your Honor is well aware, intervention is only appropriate with leave of court where a third party seeks to, quote, file a pleading to intervene as a plaintiff or as a defendant to assert any claim or defense germane to the subject matter of the proceeding, unquote. Virginia Supreme Court Rule 3:14. As Mr. Tobin, to his credit, has conceded, TMZ is not asking to file a pleading. It cannot properly categorize itself either as plaintiff nor defendant, and it seeks to assert no claim or defense germane to the subject matter of this action. Moreover, even if the privilege were applicable, which is not the case here, the testimony intended is directly relevant and would outweigh any qualified privilege. Quote, an intervener must be asserting an interest that is part of the subject matter of the litigation, unquote, Hudson versus Jarrett, 269 Virginia 24/32. Here, as Mr. Tobin stated, TMZ seeks to protect potential information solicited from a third-party witness, which is in no way a matter before this court, citing Commonwealth versus Gill, 89 Virginia Circuit 323, a 2014 case denying a motion to intervene where the intervener filed it, quote, to protect a property right, not a matter before the court,
All right.
unquote. The outcome of this trial will not affect TMZ, and it does not have a sufficient interest in the subject
Sorry about the
matter
stream.
of
It's a little.
this
It's
suit
just.
to intervene.
It's just choppy,
See
man.
Texas Fletcher,
It's just
Maiden
choppy.
Reed PC versus Bank National Trust Co. 2013 Westlaw 5849140.
Hopefully we can move out of here and get a
Granting
better
and
connection.
this is distinguishing it, granting the motion to intervene where the intervener's liability would be affected by the outcome of the litigation. Finally, Your Honor, TMZ lacks standing to object to testimony by a third party in this action because TMZ, as Your Honor pointed out, is not being compelled to testify. TMZ's reliance on the Philip Morris case for the proposition that the privilege cannot be circumvented by seeking confidential source information from an employee is inapposite. 3-6 VA Circuit at 1. For one thing, as noted in that case, there is no testimonial privilege akin to that enjoyed under the Fifth Amendment, which would allow a reporter to refuse to appear before a grand jury and answer questions. And Philip Morris, as Your Honor is aware, the party issued a third-party subpoena for records to trace confidential sources. Philip Morris is inapposite here, as that case related, as this case is related to witness testimony, not records. As Your Honor suggested, TMZ's quarrel, if any, is with Mr. Tremaine to the extent that he had an NDA that was enforceable, applicable, and that's not what we're hearing from Mr. Tobin. So to the extent that TMZ, which is not exactly Edward R. Murrow, Your Honor, to the extent they have a beef, as it were, a cognizable beef, it is with Mr. Tremaine. It is not with Mr. Depp, and they clearly do not have standing to assert or to intervene because they are not intervening as a party, plaintiff, or defendant. So we respectfully submit, to the extent the court disagrees, I can go into the arguments why the privilege is inapplicable, but I will reserve that.
Thank you. All right. Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, I would like to weigh in from just a different perspective,
Okay.
and that is because we're trying to deal with some important issues of privilege, et cetera. But from our perspective, representing Ms. Hurd, we have issues with this witness separately, and I want to make them very clear for the record. This is somebody who should have been identified in discovery, was never. Second of all, it's not relevant whether, apparently what they're saying he's going to testify, and we have not had the opportunity to discover that, is he's going to claim that someone leaked to TMZ that Ms. Hurd was going to obtain the TRO on that Friday and also leak the video, the kitchen video with Mr. Depp being rather violent. I'm almost certain he's not going to claim it's Ms. Hurd, so I think it's never going to come in.
Ms. Berghoff, I understand all that argument. Do you have any argument as to this particular motion?
No, my
Okay, well, then we can address
well,
your...
my point is, though, if you balance the prejudice versus the probative value, I don't even see how he can come in on foundation or hearsay or relevance.
That's just not part of this motion at this time. Thank you, ma'am. All right, Mr. Tobin, your motion, you get the last word, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. You know, I appreciate that the court shook your head when he made the snarky comment that this is not Edward R. Murrow. Obviously, the First Amendment applies to everybody, citizens, the New York Times, or TMZ. And this is a First Amendment-based privilege. Your Honor, the Philip Morris case is actually a very good case to answer Your Honor's question about the intervention of somebody else in order to assert the privilege. There, ABC was a defendant in the case, and it moved in order to prevent other people, the phone company.
Right. But they were already in
airlines.
the case in that particular.
I understand. There is no other mechanism, though, and so it would be an interesting procedural issue for appeal, Your Honor, whether a journalism organization or anybody else who's a First Amendment holder would be denied intervention on a constitutional-based privilege. I also, just for the record and for the merits of the case, if I understood Mr. Chu correctly, he said this is not an issue in the litigation. This does not relate to an issue in the litigation. Well, if it's not an issue in the litigation, if it's not part of a prima facie part of the defense, part of the allegations of the complaint, if it's impeachment evidence, if it's collateral to the main issues in the case, under the Brown v. Commonwealth decision under the Virginia Supreme Court, under the application of that privilege in the Philip Morris versus ABC News, it is not supposed to be compelled in this case.
Which is, again, it's not being compelled, it appears.
Well, he is appearing by subpoena, and it is a compulsory process, and he will have an obligation unless he asserts privilege under oath. But it is our privilege, Your Honor. It's not an employee, a loyal or a rogue employee's privilege to waive on behalf of its employer. This is an unusual situation.
Tell me about it.
But the answers are there in the law, and it is a First Amendment concern.
This is not the first unusual situation in this case. I can
For either
tell you
of
for
us,
Mr. Tobin.
For anybody here, I'm sure.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you coming in today, and I appreciate
you,
your
Your Honor.
arguments. Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, in this matter, under Virginia Rule Supreme Court 3:14, a new party may intervene as a plaintiff or defendant to assert any claim or defense germane to the subject matter of the proceeding. A new party may not intervene unless they assert some right involved in the underlying litigation. A party is not entitled to intervene merely because a byproduct of the litigation adversely impacts them, and the decision to allow intervention is within the broad discretion of the trial court. Here, the rights asserted are not germane to the trial. The central issues in this case are whether defendant defamed plaintiff and whether plaintiff defamed defendant through a theory of vicarious liability. The issue of the confidentiality of sources has not come up as in other cases cited by EHM, which is the corporation that TMZ belongs to, is under their umbrella. In Brown versus the Commonwealth, there was an attempt by the criminal defendant to subpoena institutions in order to obtain the name of the confidential source. When the author of the article was subpoenaed, she refused to identify her confidential source on the stand. And in this case, it appears that the witness is willing to state the name of the confidential source without being compelled voluntarily. Whether that breaches a non-disclosure agreement between Mr. Tremaine and EHM is not germane to this matter and can be litigated in a separate matter if EHM so chooses. And while breaches of contract must be taken seriously, and the court does, any alleged breach is not germane to the underlying litigation here. That contractual action has no bearing on this case and is thus not germane to this litigation. Therefore, I'll deny the non-party EHM Productions motion to intervene.
Thank you, Your Honor. For the record, I've known Mr. Tobin for several years. I meant no snarkiness toward him.
Well, you're just a snarky guy.
Money bags, white rice,
Ashley,
steamed
Mr.
rice.
Your Honor, I am concerned that we preserve the
What is this
issue
called?
fully, and so.
For the record, yes,
For the
sir.
record, and so I would ask, may I have the opportunity to object when Mr. Tremaine
Wait,
is
it's green
questioned,
now. What the heck?
question by question?
You're
Oh, no,
there's
never mind. It's
sir,
gonna
you're
go.
not
Never
a
mind.
party to this
Zojirushi.
case. However, I will note for your record your
Zojirushi
objection
rice
to this
cooker.
complete testimony on behalf of your client.
Right, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Microphone.
As with the Hicksville witness, Your Honor, I would ask that we could voir dire him before the jury to find out when he contacted counsel and when they became aware of it. And I think also, under the circumstances, in fairness, I think we should at least be able to ask him what he's going to claim.
Response.
Your Honor, I don't think that's appropriate. Certainly, I don't think a proffer is necessary or appropriate in this case.
I'm not going to do a proffer in this matter, okay? All right. Oh, Mr. Ruttenberg,
Sorry.
it's almost at lunch.
I know, I'm so sorry. But I truly am the messenger here, because Mr. Murphy just informed me that he has to just clarify one thing
Give me
about.
just one clarification.
Okay,
Your
all
Honor.
right, okay.
I apologize.
That's fine. I think we need Ms. Myers.
I'm gonna play a little Clash while we do this. Dun 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 dun. Gross. Gross, man. What's the top? Let's see what is the top game right now. On the explore page, I wonder. Also, I need a different thumbnail, I think. Let's see. Go gaming. I'm gonna go live.
All right. So court will be in recess. Let's come back at 2 so everybody gets an hour. for
Mobile
lunch,
Legends.
okay?
What the heck? Mobile Legends still. Wow, Free Fire? Are they serious? Let's check it out. Okay, dude. Okay, bro. What is this? Let's check this out.
Oke, langsung aja kita konfirmasi di sini. Ini cuy. Nah, kalian yang pertama itu kalian
I want gameplay. Let me see the gameplay.
Instagram jika
Show me gameplay.
persyaratannya udah tembus yaitu 10.000 penonton dan 1.000
Okay, this is mobile too. Dang, this guy has 13.4 million subscribers. He had almost 400,000 views on this.
Bora ver se vai matar. Mano, não.
Holy.
Isso, para de focar em mim, pô. Tá doido? Vamos tomar então, ó. Oxi. E aí, Joe? Joe? Joe?
And welcome back to a very special For the Record here on
Okay,
Everybody,
he's
I'm
playing
Jesse
on
Weber. We are
BlueStacks
live right
too.
now in Fairfax County, Virginia, outside of the Fairfax County Courthouse. We're right behind me. They have gone on a lunch break in the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard defamation trial. This is a very special hour
All right.
because you know
So
it's
Free
the time of
Fire,
day
let's try
where
that one
we
too.
take Your questions. So all of our viewers on YouTube,
Oops,
Twitch,
got me to refresh
Twitter,
that.
Facebook, pin your questions, email your questions, message your questions. We will answer them.
Okay,
in
so we
real
got some
time
other games
here
we
for
can
the
play.
next hour. I have a very special panel with me to answer these questions.
The next
Dean
hour?
Nadal,
We're not gonna be sitting here for an hour. We're gonna be playing some games. Let's get into a little bit of Clash. Let's do that first. So I'm gonna get into that. Let's do games. Clash Royale first. Hopefully it doesn't blast our eardrums out. Let's check. It does. It's choppy. Hey. In. 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 They hate that word. Because I taught them as it tastes like spicy chili. I don't know. Whenever I say that word, I give them chili and they don't like it. Alright. There we go. Too much food. What do we do? I don't think we have enough coins for this. Yeah. Alright. Time to battle. It's a Goblin Stadium, no big deal. Alright. Damn. I didn't want to waste that, but split push, split push, split push. Gobos. Really? Dude, P.E.K.K.A.s are really strong. Like incredibly strong. This is a kind of a boring match. What the heck's going on? Oh my gosh, no way. Oh my gosh, really? Really? Alright, kick my butt. Screw you, Kuzi. I guess I should have just went defensive mode on that one. I should have spent more money on cards. I should have bought more cards. Hey, you didn't spend $1,000 on the game? Well, I guess you're not gonna win. Get out of here. Get out of here with that. Darn. Waiting. Really? Holy. Jeez. Bro, what the heck? Nice try, nice try. Nice try, buddy. Dude, there's no way. This guy has crazy leveled up dudes. No way! I'm getting my butt kicked over here. One more battle, and then we're gonna play a little bit of I don't know, Mobile Legends. I don't know. Jeez, Blue. Dude, this guy is just... Okay, I think we got this, actually. Some people just like to spam one side. I don't know if they're going to reach there in time. Yo, easy win, easy clap. Easy clap. Easy clap. Ooh, magical chest. I just got a magical chest, guys. What? What is this? Magic items unlock at King level 4? What does that mean? Huh? So, what does that mean? Do I just have to keep... I have to get to level 4 before I can unlock magic items? Huh? Oh yeah, don't worry, it's just Garble. I'm playing against Garble. Just go. Oh my gosh. That was a waste of a fireball, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, we're in the lead though. Let's see which way he goes. I have an idea. Come on. This one is not... Why is he not fighting back? I don't understand why he wasn't fighting back. How do I level up? Oh, you level up by upgrading, right? Okay. Okay. Fine. Upgrade fireball. I'll need a little bit more. Okay. Let's just upgrade this once, maybe? Yeah, we got 4. That's perfect. Perfect. Magic items unlocked. Princess Towers, rejoice! Magic items have arrived. Here you can find all kinds of magic items. Use them to upgrade your cards and more. Let's get you started with some wild cards. Let's try using them. Use a wild card to upgrade your progress to any card. Okay. I don't know. Which one should we do? Wait, is it forcing me to pick those? Oh, they're ones that are... What? Adding up to 25 wild cards? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Oh, they're wild, so they can go to anything. Got it. Nice, okay. So this can go to rares. Let's go to that one. Got it. Got it. Okay, understand, I understand. I think we can use other stuff now, though. Let's scroll down and see. No. Okay, anyway, let's just upgrade Giant. What do we get? Plus 14, 231. Let's do it. We need an advantage. We need the edge. Get in there. In. Oh. We need the edge. So, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do one little battle. Let's just test our strength here.